Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, my friends. Welcome to the first ever Choose a Main sequel. So yes, when Street Fighter 6 came out, we did Choose a Main covering every character in the game. And since then, things have changed. For one, there's a lot more characters in the game now, right? We got some heavy hitters like Akuma and Terry Bogard. And there's been a lot of changes to the cast, both for their own gameplay mechanics and, well, system mechanics as well. So this video is intended to be both for newcomers, if you never played Street Fighter 6, this can be an introduction to the entire cast, and also for people who haven't played a while, maybe looking for some of the things that might have changed or been added over time. We're just going to go through everything. Now, assuredly, this is going to be a longer video. So for your viewing experience, there is timestamps all over the video and the video description below. So skip forward to whatever character makes sense for you that you might be interested in, or hey, maybe watch them all. And that said, since it's a longer video, if you could spare a like, it would be sincerely appreciated. These kind of videos take a very, very long time to make. But that said here, let's just go through the entire roster and let's start with the face that runs the place. So let's talk Ryu. Ryu is not only the face of Street Fighter, he is the face of all the fighting games and one of the most important video game characters of all time. Why is that? Well, he's been here since the start. The original Street Fighter 1 came out in 1987. Yes, it was an 80s game. And here we are now in 2025, and maybe later, if you're watching this years down the road, right? And Ryu's still going strong. Now, Ryu's got some things you've probably seen before. He's got the fireball, he's got the uppercut, he's got the hurricane kick. These are staples in fighting games, and these are all his moves. So, he's inspired more than a few people in his time. And one of the things about Ryu being the main character is he's gotten more buffs than anyone from launch till now. So we're now on the third season of the game, and in season 3 especially, he got buffed to the moon, but he's been getting consistently buffed throughout the life of the game. When the game was brand new, I'm not going to say he was outright bad or nothing, but he was just kind of, oh well, right? And versus now, things like his buff, the engine level 1 super, might as well be a laser beam, might as well be instantaneous, as it travels so fast across the screen. It's a good reaction check move. Things like the classic solar plexus strike. So this happened some time ago, but this got buffed to be very advantage on block. So now it's very definitively his turn. And also, one of the things that also changed over time is just things like the Hashogeki, one of his newer moves in Street Fighter 6 specifically. These all got buffed, and the donkey kick got buffed, and that made it, safer on block and just a lot more. Everything got buffed, and Ryu is just... you won't ever argue him for being a complex character, but man, does he hit like a truck now. Ryu is one of those characters that absolutely rewards fundamental play. You don't need fancy mix-ups. In fact, he's not great at mix-ups anyways. If you want to boil it down to like crouch, medium kick, fireball, hey, like that's kind of one of the main game plans, and it's still very effective here. But when it comes to game plans, besides just tossing fireballs, do uppercut if they jump, all that usual shenanigans, because once again, he's Mr. Vanilla, sure. And some people say, your favorite flavors of vanilla, that's not too exciting. But other people will tell you vanilla is the only flavor that you need, right? Because everything else is just excess. And that's kind of where Ryu's at. But he does have some style points to him now. One of them is that Ryu is one of the scariest characters in this game to consistently block. Everything he does, like say even solar plexus, right? That's half a drive gauge and damage, and his turn here, you block a heavy donkey kick, which is one of the best neutral buttons in the game, and that'll take a full drive bar from you on block every single time. And that's terrifying, especially with the buffs. You're not really doing anything to him on block because it's safer on block and it has monster pushback. And God forbid it actually connects, right? Because then if it does, your full screen, he'll get a free buff, because that's one of his core concepts is he can buff himself. And when his buff is up, his next fireball or his next Hashogeki gets a lot better, and that's very scary, considering, once again, the buffs that, like, say, EX Denjin Fireball now does more damage, and, like, everything does more damage. Everything does a lot of damage. Everything hits hard with this character. And just going back to Donkey Kick, God forbid it catches you whiffing something, because then that's a roll state. And from the roll state, if he caught you whiffing a button, oh, well, you better believe that's a free level 1 super for a very good and healthy chunk of your life. When it comes to the block stuff, like even Crouch Heavy Punch deals almost a full gauge by itself. EX Hashogeki, the big explosive burst, that's plus on block and does good guard gauge damage. So even just like a little sequence here deals over a full gauge plus damage, right? So Ryu is very likely to burn you out. If you block too much against this character, you can't afford to block too much against this character because the drive gauge damage is intense. He's more than just Mr. All-Rounder. Don't get me wrong. He is Mr. All-Rounder. He is great at pretty much everything the game can ask for you, right? Like, he has, you know, average walk speed. He's got very workable buttons. He's got the fireball. He's got the uppercut. He's got all the great all-rounder things. But he is now specifically after all the buffs, you know, plus on block, drive gauge damage, plus on block, drive gauge damage. Just as gapless, you have to take it, right? Drive gauge damage. It's now, on top of the all-rounder aspect, he's actually a bulldog up close. Usually, you know, old Ken has more offensive flair, Akuma gets all the tricks, and Ryu's kind of just plain. Well, Ryu's still kind of plain, and once again, that's what some people like. But in this game, once he bites into you and he gets up close, it's very hard to get him off without suffering either a lot of drive gauge damage or maybe just getting torn in half. And in the newest version of the game, the old classic Fireball War version of Ryu is better than ever. All of his fireballs do more damage. So he's definitively winning some Fireball Wars. The Denjin buff also buffs the Denjin fireballs. That's great. The fact that his level 1 super now is much faster. In fact, the Denjin level 1 super doubled the speed of the projectile. Just flat out doubled. Once again, it's basically a beam. So when you're doing the old back and forth projectile wars with Denjin buff, Ryu's usually going to win anyways because it gives it multiple hits. And if you got the hard call out, like you catch someone just tossing a fireball, you will just win because you have a laser beam now effectively. So Mr. All-Rounder, still Mr. All-Rounder, still great at every aspect of the game. The buffs over the years made it scary to block him, and the most recent set of buffs made the whole fireball thing deadlier than ever. Right now, Ryu, it's fair to say, one of the better characters of the game. And as, you know, Mr. Street Fighter himself, all the Street Fighter fundamentals you want to learn are all very well represented in this character, and I think you'll have a good time with him.
When it's all said and done, they gon' call me a legend. I love to break bread, but I'd rather break records. Where you go? Perfect! Let's wrap this up! Not too slow! Just stay! No! I'm too good.
Now, let's go to Luke. So Luke is the new face of Street Fighter. Didn't work out for him so much. Don't worry, Luke. Happened to Alex, happened to Abel, happened to Rashid, and now it's happening. No one gets to replace Ryu in the end, but we still like you. And you might show up in You have a better chance to show up in Street Fighter 7 than Jamie does anyways. But yeah, so Luke is another kind of all-rounder character with a very strong presence, specifically in mid-range. He does have a fireball, but not the normal kind of fireball. He does have an uppercut. That one is kind of standard, though. So to talk about Luke, one of the big things about Luke is he has a lot of advancing normals. Normally in Street Fighter, specifically, like most normals will leave you kind of just standing where you are, right? For Luke, he's more like Mortal Kombat in a way. We call those advancing normals, right? So he will always consistently move forward while doing a lot of his moves, which gives a lot of his moves a lot more range than the average character. And that's definitely to his benefit, that he can kind of reach out and tap you from a good deal further away than some, especially because some of these buttons, like Stand Heavy Punch, these are special cancelable, and that's a very big boon. Although it does leave him susceptible to situations where if the opponent happens to be jumping, you literally just might go underneath them while they're jumping, and that might not work out for you. But yeah, due to the fact that he consistently keeps moving forward throughout so many of his moves, that gives him very just good, strong back and forth pressure, because he can literally reach out and touch you from further away than the average character. Now, to talk about that fireball, once again, Street Fighter fireballs it's a little different. Because normally in Street Fighter, the fireball has, a bit of travel time. And this is near instantaneous, the Sandblast. So this will reach out and get you from just about the full screen. Not quite, but just anything short of actual full screen, it'll work. So the thing is, normally a fireball comes and you see it and then like, oh, I'll jump over it or I'll parry it, or you got a multitude of options. For Luke, by the time you actually see that projectile, it's already too late. You have to react to the wind up, the actual like punch before itself. And that gives him a very unique screen control opportunity because you don't react to the projectile, you react to the startup, and that's frankly quite a bit harder. And of course he has the enhanced version, which is basically a beam. It's even faster yet, and that one will go actually full screen. And one of the interesting things about its enhanced moves is they have follow-ups. So he can actually spend more than the usual 2 bars to enhance a move. So he can spend a 3rd bar and then get additional properties, more damage. Like you can see here, specifically that causes a wall splat. And say he's somewhat near the corner. Oh, from here? Okay, I can just go right into a level 1 super and get more damage, right? Because you're held up against the wall. Say that uppercut we mentioned. That's another strong deal. You can do a basic, Shoryuken style uppercut, and you can enhance it. And you can double enhance it for the additional bar just to get more damage. Because sometimes you need that to close out a round. So that means, in that situation, he actually gets a bit more. Like say Ryu does EX uppercut, does 1600. Luke does 1400, but if he burns the additional bar, he'll get 2000. So now his overall reach and damage is quite a bit higher. Other moves as well, like EX Flash Knuckle, right? So this is normally a juggle style move, so you can just pop up the enemy and do something afterwards. If you double enhance it, it becomes a grab. Like it'll DDT him right in front of you and give you significant advantage that you can pressure them immediately on the wake up. And like, that hurts too. It does a good amount of damage. It does almost like a third of your life. So like, that's very strong. You pay the price. This is more expensive than any other character in the game has. But then again, other characters don't get the option to even spend the other bar. So this is one of the decided advantages Luke has. So unique projectile, he's got the standard uppercut to get off me. That's always good to have. He's got very unique normals, even stuff like back heavy punch. You can drive rush in back heavy punch, and when people are trying to jab check you for drive rushing, you can use it to avoid it and then pop them on the other end. So that's really nice. But another very core mechanic that has changed a little bit in recent times is the perfect mechanic. So Flash Knuckle, and this is a unique in that it's just cortical back, light, medium, or heavy. And light, medium, and heavy are all 3 different moves. They're not just the same move. You can hold all of these for different effects. Like the held version of light, normally that's a regular one. The held launches. The medium version bounces off the wall, right? But if you hold it in the specific right amount, you'll get a perfect. So here's regular.
Perfect.
And when you do it perfect, you can hear him say perfect.
Perfect.
And that changes things. Specifically, it changes the frame data. Like say here, we hit with the perfect. Notice I'm plus 56. If I just do the full charge version, I'll still get the launch, but I'll be plus 54. So that's something. Also note the damage. So 800 damage, not nothing, right? Full charge version. If I get the perfect version, 900 damage. So you're rewarded to get more damage. So all these moves, like you'll still get the good property on the full charge version, but if you get the perfect, you'll get more damage. Like at bare minimum, more damage is more damage. Damage is how you win games, right? So the timing mechanic helps out with that. So you have to kind of hold it. There'll always be a little spark in all of his various moves. So when you see the spark, that's when you let go. And it can be a little difficult. It's a timing thing. You got to practice. It's fighting games. You got to practice. One thing that they did make a little bit easier, though. So one of his very core combos, crouch, heavy punch into medium flash knuckle, perfect. So if you didn't get the perfect version, it would not combo before. Now, you can just do the full held charge version, and it'll always be a 2-hit combo no matter what now. Or rather, a 3-hit combo, I suppose. But yeah, so it'll always combo now. Before, it would not. If you didn't get the perfect timing, it wouldn't combo. And that would scare some people off the character, because this is, even though a basic combo, this is an important combo for the character. Because it's just a good source of damage, good source of knockdown, right? So now you don't have to time it. If you do time it, you still get the bonus damage, you still get the combo, but now you don't got to stress it as hard. But yeah, so Luke's a great all-rounder, but with some just decidedly different traits, like all the advancing normals. So His reach is just a little bit further than everyone else because he'll go a bit further. Once again, stand heavy punch being special cancelable is fantastic for like drive rush, for whatever, for whip punch, like just all around. He's got good buttons as well. Famously, crouch medium punch. It's been nerfed since, but it used to kind of run the game for a while. He has the option to spend more meter than other characters are allowed to get even more effects off of enhanced moves, which is great. He has the charge mechanic, which gives a whole new flair to the character, both for, for just damage, which is great, and execution. Sometimes it feels good to have the right timing on things, but he still rewards solid fundamental play. He's meant to be, someone you can kind of ease your way into. He's definitely not one of the more advanced characters. So if that sounds appealing, maybe try out Luke. Now, Chun-Li, you probably heard of her. Just like Ryu, one of the most important characters in all of video games, let alone just fighting games. And in the context of Street Fighter 6, she is a character that highly rewards basic fundamental play. She's not a tricky character in terms of like mixing the enemy up. She's gonna win a lot of just like basic fireballs and pokes. And that's kind of what her moveset is. That said, though, even though the game plan's not difficult, mechanically, unfortunately, she is actually one of the most difficult characters in the game. She is a charge character, which I know some people don't love. I love charge characters personally, but that's me. Her uppercut, if you will, has the down input, which some people struggle with. Once again, I like it, but I know not everyone does. So there's that. And she is also a stance character. And the stance is one of the defining things about her, in that every button press, light, medium, or heavy punch, all do different things in the stance. It gives her some of her more trickier options, like stance heavy punch is a true overhead, stance medium kick is a low, stance heavy kick is a launcher. So there's a lot of things. Also tricky about the stance is you can go into it from buttons that aren't normally special cancelable. So like say, crouch medium kick fireball. Sure, Street Fighter classic, but forward heavy kick fireball? Well, it doesn't work that way. Forward heavy kick, you lose charge for one, right? But you can go forward heavy kick directly into stance. You can go stand heavy punch directly into stance. And in fact, this helps out a lot of her game plan. When you're doing the old Street Fighter back and forth, Chun-Li is actually one of the best whiff punishers in the game because she can whiff punish you, go directly into her stance, and get some big results. There you go. Not bad damage at all. It also helps that when you're in stance, any charge requirements go away. So you do not have to do charge back, hold forward for fireball. You can literally just go back, forward, punch. For her, for spinning bird kick rather, you can go down, up, kick. It'll work. No charge needed when you're in stance. That's nice and handy. Actually, her whiff punish game got buffed in this most recent season as well, because she is the holder of the famous lightning legs, multi-kicking moves, right? And the enhanced version specifically got changed that if it hits as a punish counter, like on a whiff button, it'll knock the opponent down. You see right there, right? Big ol' knockdown. And that also gives very good damage as well. And this move is actually a good deal faster than, say, like that heavy punch. So it's actually much more reasonable to use this in punch situations, given that it's a lot faster, right? So the enemy has that much less time to actually afford to be able to whiff. So that's great. So when it comes to the old back and forth of Street Fighter, she's great at it. Once again, the good buttons. Kikoken's actually one of the best fireballs in the game, as you can have a fast fireball, the heavy punch. This has lightning quick startup. This is basically another normal. Like, it's another button she can press in neutral, basically, if you have the charge. It's an extension of her body. That's the heavy version, but the light version, extra slow. You can walk behind it, run behind it. In fact, because Street Fighter 6 is Street Fighter 6, you can drive rush behind it to great effect. Much the same here. An enhanced version doesn't knock the enemy down. Most enhanced fireballs knock the enemy down. Hers doesn't. There's a great reason for that, because specifically in the context of a fireball war, your EX will win, and you can come screaming, drive rushing behind it. So in that situation where you can say it and you know you're going to win that war, all of a sudden, you can get some big rewards. So it's actually beneficial. Rare, like usually the knockdown's better, but for Chun-Li, it really works out. So that's why it's a charge fireball, because Kikoken would be too good as a regular motion fireball. And speaking of the old neutral back and forth, she has his on-shoe, so she can easily go over fireballs as well. She has her infamous level 2 super, so if you're about mid-screen, they toss a bad fireball, well, then it's time to go for the ride. Also, it helps that she has 3 great level 3s, because her combo structure allows for basically anything that launches to go into level 1, 2, or 3 super very easily. So she has some of the better supers overall in the game. And of course, there's weaknesses, right? So if she's fast, she has great neutral control, like does the good fireball, has, you know, the standard anti, like what's the weaknesses, right? Well, one, her mix-up game's not great. She's not exactly going to 50-50 to death. Like, she could be put in a position where she might be able to, like, do stance in your face, and that might be a thing where, like, you can do this, and the rising version looks like the startup of the overhead. But then you can go fake out rise and go for a low or something like this. But compared to, like, good mix-ups, that's not really a great mix-up. But she does have a bad jump. Even though the better you get at Street Fighter, the less you want to jump, you're still going to jump every now and then. And her jump is actually just worse than the other characters. So she has a 47 frame jump. Almost everyone else in the game has a 43 frame jump. Like, look at old Honda here. Honda's big and fat, right? Still 43 frame jump. That's fine, right? Because that's how almost every character in the game works. That's kind of like one of the more base rules of Street Fighter. But Chun has a 47 frame jump. That means if she jumps at you, she's in the air for that much longer. And that means it's that much easier to get anti-aired. So she's really good at winning in classic Street Fighter neutral back and forth, because she has to win. Because the option to just jump in at the enemy isn't as good as everyone else. So you have to win on the ground. Thankfully, she has the tools to do it, but you need the tools to do it. So keep that in mind. But if you're willing to learn some of the more difficult things, because she is a charge character, you have to win off fundamentals, because you can't gimmick your enemy out. And then, of course, you know, like stance nonsense, some of the harder combo routes, because you have to factor the stance into it as well. But if you're willing to put in the time, Chun-Li is a very solid character. Once again, you know, good little buffs over the years, like including the recent EX Lightning Leg buff to whiff punish enemies. That's really nice, right? Also, in the most recent patch, made Tencho kick a better anti-air, because it was sometimes inconsistent. Now it's a bit better. But yeah, so if you're looking for another character for the classical Street Fighter experience, Chun-Li is absolutely that.
I'm ready for a fight when it's on its own. I'm charging like a bull when it's on its own.
Watch your feet. We do it all day, every day. Nothing personal.
Now, going to Kimberly, one of our Street Fighter 6 newcomers. So we talked about Chun-Li and Chun-Li, how she's like Mrs. Fundamentals, Mrs. Street Fighter, not many gimmicks. Kimberly, well, Kimberly's rotten with the gimmicks. Kimberly is definitively a mix-up pressure character, right? Like, she has a literal full-screen teleport and she can like bop you from anywhere on the screen. That's pretty all right. Now, it's not to say she has no fundamentals, because actually in the course of the game's life, they made her a lot better at that kind of stuff. Like, Course 4 Light Punch, they made that a very strong footsie/neutral tool, to the point where if you are good and space it, it will actually reward you, making sure you actually get good combos going like into standing light kick. And then all of a sudden, off a quick neutral check, like if your spacing's on point, you can get some like actual real damage, right? So like, she definitely at the beginning of the game's life wasn't as strong in neutral, you know, basic fundamentals of Street Fighter, but they definitely buffed her a lot. So she's very strong in that way. Although that move, oh, well, that should be my anti-air invincible reversal, right? Well, the enhanced version's not full invincible like you think it is. Unfortunately, it actually used to be in the beta, but so her defense is a bit weaker, but that's to make up for the fact that her offense is titanic. So offense, we already talked about teleports, right? So she has a lot of like ways to kind of just manipulate around the screen, and that's really strong. Her base walk speed is also pretty good. And also, how about running? So not drive rush, but an actual run. And from this run, well, you can do a lot of things. You can do the old classic run stop. The run itself has a variety of attacks associated with it. And hey, one's a low, and now there's an overhead. That kind of writes itself right there, right? That's mix-up 101. Guess low, guess overhead. but also if it touches the enemy, she'll kind of springboard off you. And the thing is, which makes this so clever, is this happens even on block. So if you block this, you're not necessarily spared from what's going on here. And the thing about this is it can be kind of terrifying because, like, say crouch heavy punch in the EX run, there's no gap there. So even if you block it, the run's going off. And there's a bit of a mix-up from just even getting runned on. Because she can do nothing. She can do a dive kick on you. And this dive kick, by the way, is very strong, as it can splat you against the wall if it's enhanced. Very scary. And say if you keep blocking, because naturally, you know, that's a strike, it's blockable. She also has a throw from this. An actual grab. And even the regular version, like, it's a command grab. You can't block it. The enhanced version bounces the enemy. So, like, you can keep getting more hits after the fact. So even right there, like, just because you block that move doesn't mean you're necessarily completely safe. And once again, she can just not do anything as well. So if you just scream in with whatever reversal of choice, it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get her. So you can already see some levels how she's tricky, right? But we also have the spray paint mechanic. So she can set up basically bombs. Very limited. You only have 2 to start with. And you can place them at various points in the screen. When you use up to 2, you kind of got to regenerate them a little bit, right? You can either do a quick version or you can kind of enhance it. If you enhance it, you'll, you know, burn your drive gauge, but you'll get both back immediately. And this is where a lot of her pressure comes from. Like some of the things that have been buffed, like one of her command string normals, right? It gave enough knockdown now, 49 frames of knockdown. You do this, you toss your bomb, you have to wake up into it, and she's still at advantage. Like, even after doing this whole sequence, tossing her bomb, it's still her turn after the fact. And that's a recently buffed thing, sure. But, like, there's a million ways she can do it. And one of the most basic building blocks is you do this, you wake up into the throw, and she can throw you into the explosion. So she'll get some of that base throw damage, sure, right? But then... oh, whoops! This is a lot more damage than just a throw's worth of damage, right? So you can't just sit there and block necessarily. But when you're in that situation, that's literally a ticking time bomb effectively, right? So we have that as an option to do the base throw into it. So, you know, parrying attacks doesn't seem too attractive there, right? But then I can force you into a block string and, like, guess low into explosion in the juggle, or force you into a block string and guess overhead into explosion, right? So it's coin flip time, throw, overhead, low, like whatever she wants, right? And most of these setups, including like the Easy Bake recent buff target combo setup, right? She's always going to be advantaged over you, so you just kind of gotta guess. And they also buffed it that she can have multiple spray paint cans with delayed explosions. So they can actually create even more grander combos. You'll burn both of them immediately, right? But the fact that they juggle into themselves, you can get grander combos. Like, it's a whole thing. It even plays into her super. So it's changed now since launch. So if you hold the button, you can burn a spray paint can to get more damage than a regular level 1 super. If you do not hold the button, then you will not burn the can. So before you had to burn the can, now you get to choose. Get the damage with the can, or save the can for later. That's nice. And then there's the level 3. So the level 3, on top of being a level 3, you know, doing more damage, right? It actually permanently buffs her damage. So, like, level 3 is already good, but it permanently buffs her damage and even changes the music. So now, everything she does here, you can see here, does 111% damage. So everything she does is permanently buffed for the rest of the match. And that's a very, very big deal. So even though the level 3s, it's a reward in and of itself to get that big chunk of damage, she actually gets scarier for the rest of the fight, because you have to worry that she's like jamming out to her favorite beats and everything's just gonna hurt a lot more from here on out. But the thing here is, yeah, she's just dripping with like mix-up potential. Like, even like she has a base slide, she doesn't even need the run. She has a base overhead, she doesn't need the run to do an overhead as well. In fact, her base overhead is really strong, because most characters to combo after an overhead, you have to drive rush first, which does potentially give it away. Hers is +4 on regular hit anyways, so she can jab after the fact, no matter what. So off her base overhead, if it connects at all, it's always a free combo. Nothing you need it, no fanciness. Like, if you do it off a drive rush, You can, it'll just be even more frame advantage, but you don't need it, right? So that makes her overhead by default quite a bit stronger than the average characters, because it'll always lead to, admittedly, sometimes small unless you want to dump a lot of resource reward, but always a pretty good reward. She's also a character that can change her jump arc with the Bushin elbow drop. So she can jump forward and doesn't necessarily have to commit to the whole jump and can drop on your head immediately. And that's very, very strong, not the least of which is if it connects at all, it's +5, which once again needs combos. And if it does get blocked, it's fairly low consequence. If it gets blocked, it's usually going to be -2. Unless somehow they block it crouching, then you're purely neutral with each other, right? But being able to just change your jump arc's huge. Like, am I going to go for the cross-up? Because it looks like I'm going for the cross-up, right? And then all of a sudden, nah, actually I went for the elbow, and you were blocking the other way for the cross-up, get mixed. And that's Kimberly 101. Mix, 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 mix. Guess left, guess right, guess high, guess low, guess throw, guess what... Guess, 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 guess. And in recent years, in recent patches, her like fundamental play has gotten a lot stronger with various moves, and that helps out a lot. So now she's actually been a lot more favored in just high-level play in recent times, and so she's a very interesting pick. Now Ken, the much more aggressive version of Ryu, and remains as such. These days, some people will call him Worst Shoto, between Ryu himself and Akuma, but Worst Shoto is like Poorest Billionaire. Trust me, a lot of characters in this game would kill to be Worst Shoto. So what's definitively worse compared to like Ryu and Akuma? Well, his fireball game isn't as strong. Not to say it's weak, because it's not weak, it's pretty alright. But it's just not as strong as theirs. But to make up for that, he has stuff like, you know, the classic crazy Ken uppercuts. And trust me, 10 players are gonna uppercut. He's got some hurricane kicks with some extra flavor to them. In fact, one of his better traits is corner carry, because this can help out with that. As he can take you basically corner to corner. And that's off the back of his special command run. So he has this run, and any move from this run can change up. It has run stop, run overhead, run into his classic toe kick, and that's a great spacing tool. He's pretty proficient at neutral, all things told. And if he goes for, say, a special move like run uppercut, well, that's gonna be a flaming uppercut. Run hurricane kick will be a flaming hurricane kick, so on and so forth. In fact, run uppercut is extra strong because without having to spend meter, that run uppercut is some level of invincibility. So say we know Ryu's tossing them fireballs, right? We can like legitimately do a hard call out on that and abuse the invincibility at the start of the run version of uppercut and just run in and stop him from doing what he's gonna do. That's the run version only. Regular uppercut is jump invincible, like, you know, the rest of the cast. EX uppercut is regular invincible as well. That's full invincible, but doing off the run is meterless, right? And still has an invincibility, so it's quite strong. And of course, there's run Dragon Lash. That's one of his newer tricks. The Dragon Lash is a slow, well, I'm not going to call it slow, but a slower attack that can be quite problematic for many people, as the heavy version of the move is advantage on block. So he can come screaming in on you from like most of the screen away, and it'll be his turn. And that's definitely a big deal, because if you are not fast enough to like say parry it, which is harder now with the perfect parry changes, and if you do not drive impact it the second you see him leave the ground, he can land and drive impact you back, right? Some people struggle with the move. So frankly, it's a move you as the Ken player, until they prove they can deal with it, you get to abuse it. Because if you catch them hitting a button, it'll be a counter hit. And from the counter hit, you'll get combo potential. And, well, that sort of writes itself, doesn't it? So, once again, he's a Shoto. So, fireball, maybe not as great. Uppercut, definitely first in class. Hurricane kick, really good, especially with a lot of the tricks. And what else do we got? Well, so we mentioned stuff like he's got toe kick. That's really good in neutral. His buttons are actually fantastic. Stand Heavy Punch is fast for what it is, 10 frames. That is special cancelable. So it's very strong, just like general empty bait, like buffer a drive rush into it. And if you catch a button, you'll drive rush, get a free combo. Heavy Kick's just a really good poke in and of itself, especially because if it hits on something's recovery, it's a punish counter. And as you see here, it'll send people flying. So if you catch them at bare minimum, like there's some combo ability, there's some damage. You're going to get a bigger reward than just the poke itself, which is really, really strong. So he's got very proficient neutral. He's got good buttons. He's got, you know, the good Shoto stuff. He's a great all-rounder. But once again, he's better than average on the pressure front. We talked about run overhead, but he's got another set of moves called the Jinrai. So Jinrai kicks is one of the, well, if you're playing him, one of the better aspects. If you're playing against him, one of the more frustrating aspects. But it's just a quarter circle forward kick. And depending on the button, you know, slower, faster, better on block. Heavy kick is completely safe on block. And the kick by itself is whatever. It's the fact that what comes after it. So say we block heavy Jinrai. And then I hit forward and light kick. That is a low. So you got to block that crouching. Great. Sure. Okay, that's easy enough. But if I hit forward medium kick, that's an overhead. Whoa. Okay. So we got a bit of a dice roll going on here. And it's not as simple as, well, I'll fuzzy it, rooflemonger, I fuzzy everything. No, you don't. You're a liar, for one. And two, you can't, because this is heavily delayable. You don't got to do it right away. You can wait quite some time before you have to commit to any follow-up for the Jinrai, to the point where, like, even normally, this into low would be gapless off heavy, right? You can leave enough of a gap for someone to mash through. Like, say they're trying to catch that overhead. And one of the strengths of Jinrai, if you catch them after the first hit hitting a button, now it's different, but still strong. You get a knockdown. Before, you would get a full combo. So that was nerfed. This is not how it was at launch. But even off this, if you catch him hitting a button, even in its current nerfed state, you can dash forward and you have guaranteed pressure, even if they roll. If you're in throw range for one, so that's very strong. And they got to worry just immediately about throw. Then you doing, you know, the old back four shimmy. You can press more buttons. It is decidedly, in this scenario, your turn. Your advantage. And it's not as strong as it used to be in the guaranteed combo front, but it is still very strong. So once again, one block Jinrai, and immediately roll dice. Am I going low? Am I going overhead? And don't worry, even if you happen to block correctly, that low can be very difficult for a lot of characters to punish. Not everyone, but very few characters have 5 frames that can reliably hit from that far away. And the overhead itself is totally safe on block at that, right? So it's a whole thing. And of course, if you do it correctly, like at that range, no 5-framers hitting them from that far away, even with the few characters that normally could at point blank, right? So he has an inherent mix-up engine that's very easy to abuse. And on top of him just being annoying for mix-ups in general, it's also great for his combo structure because he has medium punch, heavy punch, which just naturally launches in and of itself, and it can lead to the infamous Jinrai loop combo. Admittedly, the timing's a little tricky, but it's not the end of the world. And yes, that combo did start with a jab. Ken's one of the very few characters in the game that can go just from a jab into a medium with no consequence. You don't need a counter hit, you don't need anything else. You can just do it. So when we talk about like Ken and his privilege stuff, he's got a lot going for him. So maybe Ken's not the terror of the game anymore these days, just merely a very strong character that's better than the vast majority of the cast. Oh no, right? And still maintains a lot of classic Kenisms, rather. Like his back throw will still throw you about 50% of the screen. Sure, why not, right? But yeah, Ken's still very good. He will play the all-rounder stuff very well. Better than most, in fact. But then when it comes to like pressure between the stuff from run, his fact that his buttons are very good. He's one Dragon Lash away from just winning the round at any given time if you're not too on the ball. His combos will take you from corner to corner pretty easily. Like Ken can do some stuff, right? There's no real weakness here. His only weakness is there's other characters that play somewhat similar to him. And these days, he's not just wildly better than them. Which isn't really a weakness, but Ken players will downplay him as hard as they can, right? So that's what they'll come at you with, basically. So I'm just preparing you. But yeah, so Ken is a good pick.
Don't kick this! You can't stop me! I'm one of a kind.
Now Jamie. So Jamie's our resident drunken master, in that literally the more he drinks, the stronger he gets. And well, that's basically how it works. Levels 1 through 4, each level more powerful than the last. And Jamie is one of the most consistently buffed characters in Street Fighter 6, capping off with the most recent Season 3 patch, where he's got some very strong quality of life changes. Like mediums, like stand mediums +6 now, so stand medium, no counter hit, no nothing, goes into crouch medium. His command grab that he gets at level 3, yes, he does have a command grab. That's actually quite powerful. Now naturally goes into crouch heavy punch because they make crouch heavy punch faster. And there's been a lot of little buffs along the way. Jamie is a much more viable competitive character these days than he's ever been before. Of course, there's always the friction of the thing. It takes him a while to get where he's going. When you start round 1 fight, he's at his absolute weakest. Like, even look at his damage. You'll see here it says that is 90% damage. He doesn't even do full damage. Every 1 drink level, he'll go up 5%. So he needs at least 2 drinks to do normal damage. And then at 3, he'll do 5% more. And at level 4, he'll do 10%. So you start at 0 at every round is the thing, right? You are not a complete character out of the gate. You could argue that at level 4 drinks, Jamie is outright one of the best characters in the game. I think that's actually very fair to argue, because then he has a very expansive moveset and does a lot of damage. But that doesn't happen out of the gate. A lot of times you're going to be forced into a situation. Like, let's take a basic hit confirm combo. He's a Rekka character. So we can do this, and 1, 2, 3. So he has 3 possible follow-ups, right? So if I do something like this here, I'll do a bit more damage. I can knock him down right away, and I'll have a bit more pressure after the fact, right? But if I go for the alternate follow-up, notice he does kick and do a drink instead. Now I'll gain a drink from that kick, but I don't do as much damage, and any potential of a follow-up is completely gone. I have to choose. Do I want to level up, or do I want to keep pressuring him? Because if you level up, you will be stronger, but you'll lose any opportunity for immediate pressure. Now, at least that's been made a bit more easy over time, as the concept of just drinking. Now, whenever Jamie drinks, he will gain a bit of drive gauge. Notice the drive gauge there, right? After the Rekka series completes, when the drink begins, he'll just gain bar. Anytime he drinks, he'll gain just a little bit of bar. And that's really great. In fact, his level 2, that's one of the more buff things about it. So he has a regular level 1, does what you'd expect. His level 3 is a little different depending on where you are health-wise, critical art or regular. As the base version actually doesn't do full damage. It has a juggle state after the fact, from which you can, like, for example, like drive rush and do something which I dropped, but I'm not a Jamie player, right? But the level 2 was the big one. So the level 2 puts you at 4 drinks right away, right? No matter what. Could be at the start of the round, puts you at 4 drinks right away for a limited time. You can notice the timer here, for a limited time. And after it goes away, well, then you're back to whatever. So the buffs over since the launch is, see, it would put you back at 0 before, right? Say you had 2 drinks before and then you did it. So now, whatever drink level you were before, you'll just go back to that drink level instead of losing everything. So notice about to run out now here, and ran out. Okay, I'm at 2 drinks. So I don't lose everything. That's great, actually. That's fantastic. And also, just like before, it will gain you drive meter upon completion. In fact, it'll get you a full drive bar. That's not nothing. Especially now with, like, combo routes changing. You can do this, go right into level 2. And be at significant frame advantage on hit or on block, as hopefully I showed in the earlier example, right? You can create mix-up situations now. The level 2 got a lot more valuable, as it puts you at your most dangerous state immediately. So let's talk about it, right? Because at level 1, you're barely a character. You can do hit confirm into Rekka, and that's almost about where it begins and ends. But we get 1 drink in you, on top of doing more damage. Now we unlock the dive kick, and he's got a good dive kick. It's the kind of dive kick you can do some shenanigans after the fact. That's meterless, by the way. And yes, it is naturally, because he's associated with Yin Yang in the story. If you space it correctly, you can actually get, plus on block dive kicks, right? So you can come in with all sorts of angles, and the enhanced version is more of a sledgehammer. You barely got to even pretend to space it, and the juggles from it are a lot easier to get, right? So level 1, you unlock a dive kick. That's strong. Also at level 1, you unlock a very handy target combo. So it's 3 hits, light punch, light kick, and medium punch. And it'll also serve to help just really extend your basic hit confirms, because now you're getting a lot more teeth on the basic stuff you'd be doing anyways, because you got just a lot more hits in there. That's good. At 2 drinks in you, you unlock Bakai. It's kind of like breakdancing, right? And this is very projectile invulnerable. So Jamie versus projectiles is a little rough till you unlock this, when you can start calling people out. Also, Jamie has a perfectly serviceable overhead, and after you get to level 2, you unlock a follow-up to the overhead. And from that follow-up, you can also get more drinks in you as well. So now you have another very viable way to level up, right? So once you get to level 2, if you can sneak in an overhead, then you're only a quick hit away from sneaking in that extra drink and then getting to level 3, right? So now the drinks are potentially snowballing. At 3 drinks, this is where things start getting scary, right? So you unlock more target combos, and that's always handy to have, is more target combos. But most importantly, you unlock the command grab. And the command grab, due to recent changes, is now so much scarier than it was before. Because before, if you wanted anything real, you had to do the enhanced version. And of course, there's always a whiff of whiffing a command grab. That they'll jump, land on your head, get a combo. And if you did the enhanced version, that's all the worse yet, because you just burned 2 bars. But now, at minimum, you can always go into crouch heavy punch into, say, you know, a palm or something like that. Palm is available at all levels of drinks. So that's a base move, right? But now, yeah, it's scary. Because, you know, a character this fast, dive kicks, all the tricks he got. Normally, this is not the kind of character that would get a command grab. But once he's at level 3, he has it. And then all of a sudden, because, you know, he's got a perfectly serviceable overhead. He's got a really, you know, 7-frame crouch medium kick. He's got high-low stuff. And now this is just like the real can opener. The non-enhanced version, you're not going to get too much damage. But then again, it doesn't need to be too much damage. Because even at bare minimum, if you land something basic like this, oh, that's game over. Whoops. You know, like, you can go into your level 3. Like, just that fact of a command grab is a true threat in and of itself, right? It's pretty scary stuff, so it's really great. And of course, then, there's level 4. So level 4, like, now you know things are extra real, because, like, his whole animation cycle's different. His hair is down. Stuff like the Rekka series now gets a lot more hits. Everything's going to be doing a lot more damage. Everything's just a lot more terrifying, all in all. Once again, we unlock even more new command normals, because, you know, that's just how he do, right? So we can get all tricky with extra moves. And the Palm, which is already one of his best base moves, right? Palm now gets a follow-up. So a move you're going to be abusing anyways, because Palm is great. Even here, we're at level 1, right? Base Palm. If you space it correctly here, like, that's 0 on block. It has so many active frames. It's what we would call a neutral skip. You can be very sloppy with it. And it's mostly all upside. Because, like, even point blank, it's safe on block. It's very abusable for people that don't want to play normal neutral. But yeah, basically in the end, it's all about just the drinks and drink management. Thankfully, there are some moves like sweep. He does have one of the best sweeps in the game, just purely because it has a follow-up where you can get a drink afterwards. So if you get a random sleep in, you get a drink. That's great. And Jamie's got a whole boast of, like, just great normals here. Forward heavy kick, not low. You can stand block it, but just great range, right? Goes classically well with, like, stuff like the Palm. Then heavy punch is 3 hits. One of the most ignorant, straight up ignorant moves in the game off a drive rush. If it connects, okay, free combo, right? Okay, done, right? Awesome. If it is, for whatever reason, blocked, okay, who cares? Still +1, so it's still your turn, right? Like, you'll still get pressure after the fact. Like, speaking of pressure, even stand medium punch is +2 by itself. And now the fact that it naturally combos into crouch medium punch, right? Thanks to the buffs, like, there's a lot of things going in Jamie's favor. Like, he's not going to be complained as the best character in the game, but right now is the best time to ever play Jamie if you're interested in a character like this.
When it's all said and done, they gon' call me a legend. I love to break bread, but I'd rather break records. Too much spirit.
Wheel!
Kill
Now, enter E Honda. E Honda is a big body. He's a walking wall. If you ever heard anything about him in Street Fighter 6, it's probably headbutt or butt slam, because those are the two favorites. And they're very terrifying against newer players. Once you know what you're doing, they're not as scary. But against, beginners, these are basically the two best moves in the game, as many beginner-level tournaments have proven over the years. But, so what's Honda all about? Once again, Honda's a walking wall here. Honda, he ain't got no fireball. If he's like this far or further, he can't interact with you other than flinging himself at you with a headbutt or a butt stomp, right? Like, that's it. Otherwise, he's got to work his way in. Now, since launch, this has changed quite a bit, because they've given him some buffs over the years, and one of them is the fact that, a character of his type is going to be a button-style character anyways, right? And he's got some buttons on him. In fact, what is debatably, like, if it wasn't on Honda, some people would call this the best button in the game. Stand Medium Punch. So Stand Medium Punch is 10 frames. So good, it's pretty fast for what it is. As you can see here, very appreciable range. This is not a short range move by any stretch. It can hit people from pretty far away. And it's also advantage on block. Normally, a move that's fairly fast can hit from, a good range away. That move would never in a million years be advantage on block. This move is. And thus, a lot of the parties get started off this, right? Honda's actually a bucket full of great normals. Like, we have this, which once again is debatably, like, maybe the single best normal in the game. We have Stand Heavy Punch. So Stand Heavy Punch is a disjointed hitbox. So even if you're point blank, the beginning of the move, if you look at the frame meter, it can't hit right away. Because the very beginning of the move is tied only to hit airborne players. And this is actually one of the most dominant anti-air moves in the game. Straight up. Like, if Honda's on the ball, it's almost impossible to jump on him because he has a one-button Dragon Punch. It's not invincible. So if you hit him, like, very deep, like very, very deep, you'll still beat him. But if he's even remotely on the ball, you're never going to jump. And then there's the fact that Charge Headbutt also has partial anti-air invulnerability as well. So it is very, very difficult to jump on Honda. So we have those. We have Crouch Medium Kick, which is +6 on hit. And by itself is single hit confirmable. You can just see, did I get hit? Oh, cool. Get a combo. Done, right? You don't have to hit confirm or whatever, like more advanced thing. You just see it. Single hit confirm. It's also great off drive rushes, by the way, which makes it +10. And you know it's 10 frames. Oh, that Stand Medium Punch we just talked about. Like stuff like Stand Medium Kick has a disjointed hurt box. So it's actually tailor-made to beat stuff like Crouch Medium Kicks. Because the part that's hitting you is actually above what a Crouch Medium Kick would be targeting. So you can actually hit people from very far away, as you can see. And if you're particularly on the ball, that's something you can do for a very good chunk of damage. Even normals in the air, he has the infamous stop sign. He's had this for a long time. So he can actually manipulate his air movement. And this is not something characters can normally do, right? So while holding back or forward and hitting heavy punch, he can slowly move forwards or backwards. And that means he can easily go through fireballs and just gain space or go backwards and also land on people's heads. And ain't nobody more than one stop sign away from eating crap on a basic yet good combo. So basically he'll work his way in and he just has very good buttons overall, right? It's very easy for him to keep his turn. He has very strong counter hits. He has very strong regular hits because just like Crouch Medium Kick, right? Stand Medium Punch by itself, like, I can just turn on random block. So I got, like, random block on, right? I don't know if they're going to block or not. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. And, like, cool, that's a combo. Cool, that's a combo. Cool, that's a combo. Oh, no, don't do anything there, right? He has very strong single hit confirms. You don't need more advanced techniques. Stuff like Crouch Medium Kick, stuff like Medium Punches, like, just very easy to see that I get the hit or not, and then go from there, right? So that's really strong. And then, of course, like, let's talk headbutt and butt slam, right? So he has the ability to just fling himself at you no matter where you are on screen. And that's pretty strong overall. And it's been nerfed quite a bit, actually. The headbutt especially. But if you get your hit, that's great. You knock him down. And then from that knockdown, you can get a strong knockdown. They'll give you your buff. And we'll talk about the buff in a second. And any butt slam gives one of the most advantageous knockdowns in the game. Straight up. It's a hard knockdown. You can't roll away from it. So he's going to wake up directly on top of you. And from there, it's going to be very easy for him to do a variety of tricks to make you immediately guess a regular throw or a button or whatever. Anywhere on screen, you are in a real bad spot against Honda as soon as that knockdown happens, because he can do a lot. Either just through frame kills, he can dash and always just be plus in your face. Like, it's strong. And God forbid you throw them fireballs, because if he randomly does it and catches you in a punish counter, you're going for the ride, because it's a juggle starter. So it's good. Oh yeah, we talked about the buff. So one of the things about him in this game, similar in Street Fighter 5, is he can buff his infamous 100-hand slaps. And in this, if you have the buff up, this now gets an additional hit that lets you get a combo. So normally, the reward in and of itself is just you get the hits. Also, as of the latest patch, medium and heavy version will leave you directly in throw range. So now they have to worry about that too. But if you have the buff up, I can do this, get my 100-hand slap in, and then get a little bit of a combo after the fact, right? So anything I do in the 100-hand slap is now just inherently going to be much more damaging. And in fact, much of his optimal damage routes will involve using the buffed 100-hand slap one way or another. And he has that guaranteed off, well, anything. In fact, one of the more interesting buffs over the years, if he's doing like kind of a basic knockdown combo structure here, right? So he can launch you, juggle you in the air, go into buff, and it's a hard knockdown, that stomp, right? And he can have buff in your face. So now you have to worry about, like, what am I going to do? Am I going to get thrown? Am I going to get command grabbed? He is a command grab character. It's not best in class, but boy howdy, that enhanced one hurts a lot. You're going to watch out on that one. But now, off any launch, burn one drive gauge, get the buff, and immediately, like, okay, guess throw, guess attack. What am I going to do? You got to guess. And if you guess wrong, that could be game over, because I'm going to get more damage than I otherwise would. And actually, as of the most recent patch, they buffed the stomp in and of itself. So stomp is already, it's not bad. Like, it's a mildly quick overhead for what it is, even though it's a very elaborate animation. It's still only 22 frames. It's always cancelable into various things, so you can do it, then cancel into command grab, which is always a nice little trick. In fact, that target combo, you can also cancel into command grab. So he can get very tricky with that, right? But now, off certain moves, he can do it, and it'll bounce you in the air, so you can actually get, like, juggle potential off of it. So certain combos are now possible that were never possible before. They're not always going to be necessarily optimal combos, but they are fun. But yeah, Honda's pretty straightforward. He just works his way towards you because there's not much else he can do other than sometimes, instead of doing it the honest way, he'll just literally fling himself as a missile. So, you know, we got the good buttons. Also, he has the unique forward heavy kick. There's a lot of characters with a move like this, but his is an actual low. This actually has to be crouch blocked, unlike other characters with a visually similar move. Theirs are mids. Honda is an actual low. So when you're doing the old back and forth, you do actually have to stop for a second against Honda, or he can snipe your toes. And every time you stop, that means he gets to get that much closer to you. And stuff like his new stance that has the launcher we talked about earlier, they keep buffing stuff like his slaps from it. So it's now safer on block, better spacing, so he can just kind of, you know, space you out better if you block it. Or now with the new enhanced buffs, or forbid you hit a button, he will actually get combos off it, right? So if he catches you, gotta watch out. But yeah, it's an honest character name. He's very basic. That's why he's very popular with a lot of beginners. He does not have an invincible reversal. He has an armored reversal, which is good, but armor means it will not save you from being thrown. So he's weaker defensively than some other characters. You could definitely fairly argue he's a bit more simplistic. If you're looking for a wide toolbox with tons of variety and stuff you can do, he's probably not that character. But if you're just looking for, like, straight up a big dude that hits hard, and even harder when he has that buff up, and with the occasional gimmick, if you like frustrating people, people are only one unblocked butt slam or headbutt away from just tilting out entirely and then going to Twitter and complaining. Trusting, I've seen it a million times since Street Fighter 6 came out. So if you're looking for an honest, straightforward guy with the ability to maybe cause more rage than the average character, Honda's that guy.
When it's all said and done, they gon' call me a legend. I love to break bread, but I'd rather break bread.
See? That's enough! Away!
Now, Marisa, we just came off the Honda section, how Honda's, you know, big boy, hits hard. Marisa's even bigger and hits the hardest. Straight up the hardest. Nobody does more overall damage per combo, especially in the bigger combos, than Marisa. That's literally her whole thing. Now, you probably got the idea out of the gate. She's bigger and she's slower. These are defined weaknesses, and her defense is not the best. So she has no invincible reversal in the traditional means, and she has a lot of armored moves, which is great, admittedly, very great, although they all have a pesky little weakness in they always lose the lows. And not just like true lows, anything that hits low, even if it's not an actual low, will beat them. That sucks. At least there's stuff like the level 1. So the level 1 now triggers off everything, including throws. So it's not invincible, but it'll basically catch everything. And the charge version also does more damage than normal level 1s by a good amount. That's the regular version, if it connects. And if the counter version connects, you still get this bad boy and still does more damage than level 1s normally do, right? Because once again, she hits hard. And what helps that? So she has a wide variety of moves and counter command normals, everything that you can just hold to do more damage and have more frame advantage. Like Stand Heavy does 1,000 and it's plus 3 on hit. The held version, 1,200 plus 7 on hit. Plus 7 is a magic number because that's her target combo. So if this connects, you immediately are going to get some sort of combo, right? And it can be a pretty okay combo. Like we just talked at level 1, right? So they changed it, that charged heavy punch now goes in level 1. And you can charge level 1 to make it do more damage than other level 1s. So now all of a sudden you eat one of these bad boys. And like some characters will get this damage like with a combo using the level 3, and that's just a level 1, right? So her damage potential is through the roof is what I want to say, no matter what you do. And this has helped like stuff like heavy punch, charge heavy punch especially, heavy kick. Oh my god, heavy kick has a punish counter attached to it that'll just straight up launch you. It has huge range, fairly fast for what it is. So if you're doing this and you're just doing the old back and forth and you do this and you catch a button, then all of a sudden, whoa, gotcha. And now we're going to the cleaners like off the most basic possible hit into also a new buff. So if you end the combo that way, the double punch target combo, that gives plus 42, which is a safe jump. So like she's been getting a lot of buffs. So she has a weird history of buffs and nerfs. She was pretty all right, got nerfed, and then she went to like nowhere, then got buffed, but got buffed, got buffed, got buffed, and now she's starting to be in a better place again. And of course, she has a command grab as well, right? Maybe not as good as Zangief's, but certainly better than not having one, because it takes a good chunk of somebody's life, especially if you get the punish counter. Now, knowing what you've seen already, you're probably going to assume characters with fireballs are going to eat her alive, and it's a struggle. It's a struggle. She is not meant to do good against fireball characters. She's meant to like rip you in half when she gets to you, but she's got to get to you. But she has some stuff like the Superman Punch. So Superman Punch can actually just barely go over fireballs, because it actually can travel a fair amount of the range of the stage. Also, you notice there, right? The beginning before she's even off the ground is also armored. It's a very specific amount of frames before she gets airborne, but she has it there. So it's that's armor against everything, by the way, not just fireballs, right? So it's got multiple layers of like, okay, I'll either go over it, but if I didn't go over, but I still caught you on a certain frame, then I'll armor through it. So it's a hard call-out move. Also, very funnily enough, because she has a lot of advantage frames. If you block this bad boy, she still has advantage, right? So if you both quickly hit a button, she's going to win. And all these charge moves, by the way, you better believe they're all dripping with advantage frames. Like, you have to, when she's on you, you start taking some risks, right? Because she can just keep taking turn after turn after turn, and all these massively drain your drive gauge. So then eventually you want to start parrying, and parrying works, and maybe you get a perfect parry and you really throw off her rhythm, right? But of course, if you parry too much, get thrown, right? There's ways around it. And in fact, quite a few of her things have gaps in them, right? Gaps in the strings or gaps in the pressure from one plus frame to another plus frame. So you might be like, you know what? I'll drive impact or I'll do something armored. So here's the thing. She's also tailor-made to beat that. So her Gladius, the big punch, the held version has armor in and of itself, and also it breaks armor, the charge punch. So if she catches you trying to drive impact, it'll just literally break your drive impact, and she'll get a new animation and do even more damage. So some of the obvious counterplay to her stuff has counterplay against it. For other weaknesses besides the obvious, she's dog water at stopping jumps. Like, if the jump's super obvious, you have crouch heavy punch, but it is not a great button to stop jumps. Thankfully, Cortical Back series punches, the medium version has been buffed to give it more anti-air invulnerability. It's not full invulnerability, but more than it was. And so, depending on when it hits, you might be able to get like a juggle point afterwards. And so that's something. That's not nothing, right? So you can get more damage. But once again, this only stops obvious jumps, and it's not full body invulnerability. So you're not stopping any meaties. Once again, she has no true invincible reversal. Because even like a jump, if it hits super meaty, her armor won't trigger because it hits low enough to hit her through her armor. And she's got a few cute things. It's not going to come up often, but like her stance, right? Does have a low and overhead built into it. But usually the theory is if they're going to try to block it all, then just go for the command grab when you're already in range, right? It does good damage. But yeah, if she hits you, it's game over. Let me show you a literal basic Marisa punish combo. And Akuma is going to be our sacrificial dummy here. All right, Akuma, it's time. So you and your low health versus a basic Marisa punish combo. Right? This is not even optimal by any stretch. All right, damage is starting to get there. Starting to get there, okay. Only 7,700. Only like a full 1,000 beyond like what the average character gets. And that's not even optimal. I know you can break 8,000, right? So she hits the hardest. That's the selling point. The hardest of everybody. She suffers defensively, but then again, her offense is strong. She has some ways against the traditional ways. You think she struggled with Superman punch. She's got a command grab. She has tons of plus frames. And a lot of these plus frames, because they're plus frames, lead to easy hit confirms and combos as well. She's a big bully, but the problem, as with all bullies, bullies are also susceptible to being bullied themselves. But if you're just looking to hit hard, literally nobody hits harder than Marisa.
Started from the bottom and I'll never look back. Look at all my haters, y'all making them mad.
My loyal fans, you witness my full might. No mercy, no remorse. Warrior! My wrestling is unstoppable.
Now let's talk Zangief. So Zangief is always one of those oddball characters in that everyone will complain to the high heavens about Zangief. Yet when you see a tournament happening, everyone in the stream chat's going to be rooting for Zangief because that's the reality of it. People love the big guy. Now Zangief, over the course of Street Fighter 6, has had some ups and downs. Season 1, famously at launch, he kind of sucked. Then he got buffed to the moon. Like, he got everything he could have asked for and more, right? And then ever since then, he's been nerfed, he's been nerfed, he's been nerfed, he's been nerfed. He's still better off than he was back at the start, but he's been feeling it. So yes, you already seen me do it a few times, but hey, he's the game's primary grappler. He has the signature grab, the spinning pile driver. This is what it's all about. Does gigantic damage to anyone that hits. And it's got some range to it. Like, even the light version can hit from very far away. And still does as much damage as like other characters' more heavier command grabs, right? So he's gonna get you one way or another. And it's a lot more than on the ground. He can get you in the air. He can get you while he's on the ground while you're trying to jump in the air, thanks to one of his supers, which also became a lot. If you played this game very early on, this move was garbage. It is now actually quite workable. It's quite good. Even the base throw, right? You would think, you know, Zangief wouldn't have too much use for the base throw. Well, they gave him a lot of ways to work with the base throw. Like the base throw, basic base throw, you can hold it and now it does almost 2,000 damage, way more than everyone else's basic throw. That kind of stuff matters because you'd think you'd always want to go for the biggest possible throw, and a lot of times you do, admittedly. But sometimes there are situations where you want to go for the basic throw because you recover quite a bit quicker on the whiff, right? Like 23 frames of recovery versus 54. Because in scenarios where they might jump out and get out of the way and maybe punish you, you can actually create setups where, since you recover quicker with a regular throw, you can actually destroy them for trying that. And he's got a lot more than just that. He's actually got a wide variety. He's got suplexes. He's got German suplexes. He's got T-bone suplexes. He's got spine busters. And all these do different damages and have varying different forms of recovery, so we can get all sorts of different setups. So yes, the big command grab is great, but Zangief is the master in the grab all forms, and his regular throw game is actually way beyond anyone else's as well. Now, to help with this, you know, you got to get in there, right? So he has very serviceable normals, like stand medium kick's got some good range to it. Forward medium kick helps him go over lows, and also, as long as you space it, and it's a move where it's designed to be spaced properly, it can get quite advantageous. You can see here, it can be so advantageous, depending on the spacing, you can actually combo right into a jab. And from there, well then, that stuff sort of writes itself. Same deal, where say they block it, depending on your spacing, you can also be a little advantage. And now all of a sudden they got to guess, are you going to hit a button of some sort? Or if they stand still, because they're trying to block that button, whoops, you got grabbed. And with that in mind too, like heavy punch. Heavy punch is holdable, huge range, just knocks them down directly on hit. If they do happen to block the held version, it's advantage. Also, it drains a full drive gauge on block, so they can't block too many of those. And also, it's completely armored as well. So if they're trying to attack you, this is a very proactive way to kind of shut them up real quick. He's even got unique moves like the Tundra Storm. This is a kick-only counter. So it has to be a kick, and then if he gets you, he hits you with the Dragon Screw. So he's a lot more wrestling focused, as in like actual wrestling this time around. Like you probably noticed with things like the Spine Buster and all that, right? So he has a more proper professional wrestling moveset, which is great compared to before he was a wrestler, but you didn't feel it as much. Like he even had spinning heel kick, right? This is actually a very good move. It is a true overhead, by the way. And when we talk about stuff like range, you can do this here, and at maximum range, it's actually quite safe on block as well. And God help him if you hit him with the punish counter, because it does bounce. And depending on the angles and the combos, you can do some silly stuff with that bounce, right? So that's really fun. Now, of course, there's weaknesses here, right? So, okay, big buttons, armor, like the big grab. Like, obviously, he's very slow. And worse than being slow, because at least, you know, the game does have drive rush. That helps out the speed quite a bit. So he can always get the knockdown, then just kind of come screaming in on you, right? But worse than being slow is he's extra wide. And in fact, one of the most recent nerfs he got is it made him even wider than before. Like, you've probably heard of throw loops. It's always one of the things people complain about. No, they're still around, right? But Chun-Li famously does not have a throw loop. She's one of the very few characters in the game that doesn't. However, because they made Zangief the hurt boxes, the stuff behind the scenes where you actually hit the enemy, they made it even wider than it was before. Against Zangief, and only Zangief, she actually does have a throw loop now. So against that, I can mash my fastest move. And I cannot beat her at all. So this is a very real nerf of consequence, because a lot of characters are going to get stuff that specifically only works on Zangief. And that's not great if you're playing Zangief. And Zangief famously, no fan of fireballs. He's going to have to go and work his way in the old-fashioned way. Like by either walking and parrying or trying to risk a jump. And that's just kind of how it's got to be. Lariat's still invulnerable to projectiles, but it doesn't work the same way it does in older games, because you can do this and someone can see that and then drive rush in and hit you. So it's not something you really want to do. And other problems is when he's on his back feet, like his level 1, you know, the anti-air does a lot of damage. That's great, but it's not invincible. So he doesn't have an actual invincible reversal till his level 2. And he does not have anything like a Shoryuken style move, right? So his defense is exceptionally bad, because it's basically level 2 or nothing. And other than that, you hope you blocked right, basically. Like, he's got stuff. His level 3 is one of the, if not maybe the best level 3 in the game, the famous 720. It does incredible damage. It's 0 frame, so if the animation starts, it's too late. There's no way out. If you see him raise his hands and your feet are on the ground, you got. End of story. So very, very powerful. So it's one of those deals of overwhelming offense up close, bad defense when he's on his back feet, right? And like speaking of overwhelming offense, he's got headbutt. Headbutt got so much better over various times. So headbutt by itself, big old hit, right? 14 frames too, it's not slow. But big hit, and it's +8. So something like, say, Hell Stab. Hell Stab is 7 frames, or Crouch Medium Punch is 8 frames, right? So if you land a headbutt, no consequence, it immediately goes into one of those two. And from there, combo ability is very easy. And EX Lariat makes things very easy to combo, and it's good damage. Good knockdown. You can come screaming after him after the knockdown. Good stuff. So on hit already is very strong. What if they block? Oh. So if they block, it's +4. So +4 means immediately you start having to guess. Am I immediately gonna do this? Well, I probably got some damage coming my way, right? And then knock you down, just rinse, repeat. And if you're passive and don't hit a button, well, guess what? We're going for the ride. So immediately, it forces the mix up. It's immediate, you block this, it's time to guess. And also, you can't keep blocking this because this does almost a full drive gauge on block of damage by itself. You block too many of these in a round, and we're going to burn out real quick. Also, Lord forbid with this, the headbutt, right? You missed your big uppercut style move, right? Because on punish counter off a drive rush, it'll combo into itself. And then combined with one of the later era changes, so not there at the launch of the game, his EX Lariat can now cancel into his level 3. So we get some truly titanic damage in these scenarios. That's not even optimal, it's just an example. But yeah, so a headbutt's really good. So in the end, Zangief I would call a feast or famine character, because he can legitimately like have some of the shortest rounds in the game. Like he can just run you over in under 10 seconds. Like what even happened? But then again, there's going to be rounds, especially against certain characters in certain matchups, where it's like he doesn't even get to play the game to begin with. He's just going to be parrying projectiles all day. There's going to be characters that have better range than him some way, somehow. Or someone's going to knock him down one time. And after that knockdown, his defense sucks. And then he's going to spend the rest of the match just trying to block, right? So it's sometimes all or nothing. But he has this. This is why you're picking him, right? That's the selling point. If that's what you're in for, he's the best at that in the game, and nothing else really matters.
When it's all said and done, they gon' call me a legend. I love to break bread, but I'd rather break records.
Here I go!
Now, Lily. Woohoo! So we'll start some positives here. So Lily is well, we don't know for sure, but it's probably daughter, at least adopted daughter of T-Hawk, trained by T-Hawk, and has many T-Hawk isms. So she does have the Condor Spire. She does have the Mexican Typhoon. She has things like Condor Dive. She has the Tomahawk Buster. She has that classical T-Hawk moveset. Although with a twist that makes her own, because she has Condor Wind. And Condor Wind, it can be either just a charge or it could be an attack in and of itself. And Condor Wind builds stocks. You can notice those stocks below the life bar. And for every one stock, you can turbocharge one of your moves. And for Lily, admittedly, Condor Spire's the big one. Because Condor Spire, especially Enhanced Condor Spire, gets a lot better. So Condor Spire, if you space it correctly, it can be a little bit negative or even a little bit plus, right? If you have a stock, forget all that. Condor Spire is just always plus. It's just a rocket. You do not need to think about the spacing or the timing. So like T-Hawk of old, you had to space everything to make it work, right? For her, build the stock and just go blah, and it'll work out. And once again, she's a character with a command grab, and one of the better command grabs in the game. So if you block this and she has those advantage frames, it's immediately guess strike, guess throw. If you try to jump out or hit a button, you get hit. Okay. If you happen to remain passive, well, get thrown. That's basically how that works. And Enhanced Condor Spire, remove any nuance at all from the game. Because Enhanced Condor Spire is lightning quick, it's always plus, it's even more plus, and it's also immune to projectiles. So there's effectively nothing stopping you from just going in and forcing the mix-up. Alright, that sounds good. And what else is good about Lily? Admittedly, she has some pretty good normals. Like Stand Medium Punch has some good range, Back Heavy Punch is alright, Crouch Heavy Punch is the breadwinner. So it has very good range. I see here too, it's barely negative with the pushback, like who cares really. And if you happen to be a bit closer, it is 2 hits as well. And the thing about that is specifically, it makes it very easy to tell if you got the hit or not, so you can use it to either a drive rush confirm or just go into a special, like whatever you want to do. The problem with Lily is, other than stuff like Crouch Heavy Punch and stuff like your Enhanced Spires, there's really not much else. She has been, since launch, defined as a struggle character. She's always been one of the lesser characters of the game. And as of this most recent patch, I don't think it can be argued that she is definitively the single worst character in the game. Like, I'm here to sell you on the characters a little bit, absolutely. I want you to play these characters. But Lily is nothing but a defined struggle. If you want to grab people and still struggle, there's Zangief. He's a lot better at it. Because at least he has some overwhelming strengths. Lily has Crouch Heavy Punch. She has Enhanced Spire. That's really and truly about it. She does get buffed all the time, but the problem is, so she's so fundamentally broken, the buffs don't actually matter. Like, no amount of buffs actually change her plight. She's got some interesting stuff, like the fact that she can Condor Spire, alter her jump angle, theoretically maybe catch people off stuff that you normally couldn't catch, because she can also do it from a neutral jump. So you take a benefit like that, but then also something like Tomahawk Buster. It is very clearly an uppercut style move, right? However, while it is admittedly invincible against regular jumps, as most of these moves are, right? Admittedly, the enhanced version is not full invincible like any other uppercut in the game. You would think it should be, but it's not. It's throw invincible, but it's not regular invincible. And then you got stuff like the jump itself. Her jump's actually worse than the other characters. Not as bad as Chun-Li, but worse than normal, because it is slower. She's in the air for a few more frames than everyone else. And then there's a bunch of other weird little traits, like she's the only character with a light, medium, and heavy cross-up, which depending on how you do, you can go for like throw gimmicks, that kind of stuff. She does have some benefits, like her level 1 super is not the most, but one of the most damaging supers in the game. It's also proper invincible. It's not one of those gimmicky ones that doesn't have invincibility. So it's just raw damage plus like the strength. That's great. And so in middle layer combo structure is a bit more basic, but situations where you can get decent juggles, you can use this to make it hurt a bit more than it would with the average character, which again is admittedly nice. But her defense is not great. Stuff like her offense or jumps is not great. She has all of her best stuff tied to having stocks, and without stocks she feels like basically an incomplete character, not like other characters with similar mechanics that still function very well, like Juri. And I don't know. If you're one of the people that like playing low tier, well, hey, do I got a low tier character for you? I personally love T-Hawk. I love his legacy, so I'm always going to be on the Lily train myself. But if you don't want a somewhat more mobile grappler than, say, Zangief, there's very little for her to sell you on, admittedly. She is the definitive struggle character of the game.
I'm ready for a fight when it's on, it's on. I'm charging like a bull when it's on, it's on.
Hey, hey, hey! Good night. Tell him how you like it.
Now, coming to Dee Jay, Dee Jay is really something else. I guess you could say he's an all-rounder in that he can do most of the things the game wants from a character, but that'd be selling him short. He's really his own thing. Like, Does he have an uppercut style move? You betcha. He is a charge character though, FYI, so that might scare you off. But yeah, does he got a fireball? Sure. And his fireball is a bit different. It's a charge fireball, but like that's the medium version. Okay. And the heavy version, oh, he throws 2. And it works the way you think it is. That means he will beat one projectile by himself and the other one will go through to the enemy, which means unless the enemy is willing to spend meter, DJ will beat basically everyone in the zoning war. He can't really lose. Well, you say, what's the downside? The only downside to this, realistically, is he's stuck doing fireballs longer than usual because he's throwing the second one. So therefore, he is more susceptible to being jumped on than usual. But then again, once again, if you're on the ball, he has a flash kick style move. And he also has back heavy kick, which is one of the best normal anti-airs in the game. Hell, even a sweep can anti-air. And you better not get caught by that one. Because if you do, he's going to rip your health in half for it. Because he can actually get juggles afterwards. That's terrifying. And that's the medium and heavy. The light fireball, it's a feint. He doesn't actually do anything. So he'll be doing this and then like, well, I'm going to jump on him. I'm going to jump on him. And then no, get hit, dummy, right? So like when it comes to the fireball game, it's very interesting. His fireballs are definitely not best in class. Like the base single shot is almost the worst fireball in the game by itself. But it's the fact that he can feint it. He can throw 2 instead and like slowly grind out other projectile based characters. That's really good. Okay, so those basics are all there. Really good. Let's keep getting crazy. He's got a kind of built-in backdash attack. From here, you have light, medium, heavy options. The light is an actual low. You have to block low. The medium is an overhead. You have to block overhead. And also, the medium has been buffed to high heaven, actually, in recent times. Not the least of which is also advantage on block. So if they block overhead, guess what? It's still your turn. Really good. And the heavy version is mostly combo fodder, but it's there. And the thing about these is they all have punish counters attached to them. So the idea is you want to force them to whiff. And when they whiff, oh, now that's +6. And 6 frame, well, crouch medium punch is 6 frames. Well, there you go, right? It makes you feel awful silly for tossing out a button. And the overhead's already good enough as it is. Like if it hits you, okay, well, you just get knocked down, right? And it's a hard knockdown, by the way. So he can just dash up and just get like frame perfect pressure on you. That's very, very powerful. But if it hits as a punish counter, and now it just bounces you. So if it hits, like, it's combo time. Like, he's going to get more stuff on you. And actually has a fourth option in that he can just dash forward and that'll go through fireballs, right? So it's another anti-fireball trick he has. And it keeps going. Like, he's just a big offensive ball of unique tricks. Like, he's got his slasher kick, right? The only downside to this is compared to older games back in the day, it doesn't go, ooh-rah, but that's just me. But, like, medium's a knockdown. That's really good. Heavy leaves him standing with a decent frame advantage. And in a lot of combos, can leave him in throw range. And the light is another feint, because he's really good at feinting. Remember those up kicks we showed? Light, one of those? That's a feint. So he can go like jab, jab, and then come out on the other side. And if you're blocking, go for a cross. Like, he can do a lot of things other characters can't do. Like, hey, something other characters can't do is sweep. That's not heavy kick. That's heavy kick. And his sweep is safe on block. You space, as long as you space it, right? -6, nobody touching that from that range. And even the slide. Depending on how you space it, because you do have to space it, right? -2, that's literally safe on block. So he has safe sweeps, and he has 2 sweeps. And the one sweep is also the anti-air that we showed that can combo. He also has stuff like Machine Gun Upper. EX Machine Gun Upper might be the single most damaging non-command grab EX move in the game. I'm not sure, but like it does wildly a lot more damage than everybody else. He's full of all sorts of really good command strings, lots of really good command normals, like forward medium kick is single hit confirm on hit. If you see it hit, okay, great. If it's blocked, oh, it's plus on block. Sure. What? Yeah, like, so if you get it, combo time. If you don't, whatever. Like, you can literally just see it block or not. And if it doesn't get blocked, you go right into a combo. He's got great normals. Medium kick's great. Heavy kick's fantastic. Heavy punch is very interesting. Crouch heavy punch is another single hit confirm. Like, as long as you just see it hit, even if you're from like too far away, you can always get a flash kick. Like, it's all upside almost, right? Like, what's the downside? basically, I'm giving you all these amazing traits. What's the downside? Well, there's a couple. So one, he is a charge character, and his EX upkicks are indeed invincible. So he does have that, but he does not have an invincible level 1. He's one of the very few characters in the game that doesn't have an invincible level 1. So level 1, it's got its own tricks. It's fast. You can end quite a bit of combos with it. It has a unique punish counter state in that they'll crumple, so you can actually just get combos as well. But it's not invincible, meaning if he's in burnout, he needs at least 2 bars to avoid just getting drive rushed to death in the corner, because a level 1 will not save him. And then there's the level 2. So level 2 is a bit different. All right, here we go. Wait, what? So his level 2 is a rhythm game. And the problem is they have 2 versions of the rhythm game. So you got that, and that's the version that doesn't do as much damage. Versus, look at this. Oh, that did a lot more damage, right? So what's going on? So depending on which button you press with, light, medium, or heavy, it gives a different startup. So light is very easy, but you basically can't get bonus damage, but you also can't screw it up. So that's kind of the idea, right? Medium is between light and heavy, so you kind of have to hit the buttons when you see the various rhythm mechanics going off, and you can also choose which side he dumps you out on. That is strong. And heavy is the best of both worlds, or just like the best at all, but the timing can be somewhat strict. And if you miss the timing, like you can either drop it or just do less damage. So it's basically, you're gonna have to put some time into it, right? But at least level 2 is invincible startup. So there is that. And now I said all this, right? So, okay, so he's a bit weaker on defense. Not weak, but, you know, not as strong as like some of the other, you know, good characters in the game. But I didn't give you the best part, the drive rush. So he's got like the most obnoxious drive rush in the game. Any DJ player, this is going to be half the match. Is they're just going to randomly slide in and hope you react in time. Because if he does anything, like you block a button, go for a throw, or God forbid, even jabs plus enough to go into crouch heavy punch, which is plus enough to go into crouch medium punch. So even off a jab, he can get like some decent combos. And then something like medium punch, which is a lot more advantage. Like look at this on block. That's +6 on. Did you feel good about blocking that? Plus medium punch is plus by itself. He's dripping with plus frames. This is one of the few characters that just has a lot of plus frames, right? So he can just speed in faster than the average character. His drive rush is immaculate. And like, I probably have an example at the beginning, but like his enhanced fireball, right? Because it has a little bit of a delay before it knocks you around, and it knocks you up at that. So he can just like do this, drive rush after the fact, and like get real damage, real screen corner carry off like a EX fireball. Most of the rest of the cast needs like a setup or whatever. I don't know, like Dee Jay, he's one of the best characters people will never really talk about. Like, is he one of the best characters in the game? No, but he's full of so many unique strengths. It's hard not to love this guy in this game because he can do a little bit of everything, and then he can do a lot of things that are just kind of uniquely him.
I'm ready for a fight when it's on, it's on. I'm charging like a bull when it's on, it's on.
Fantastic! Then
So Manon is a very different kind of character, especially as of the most recent Season 3 patch, Divisive, as Japan thinks she's one of the best characters in the game, and the rest of the world thinks she's one of the worst characters in the game. But decide for yourselves, right? So she is indeed a grappler, and versus say a Zangief, she's quite a bit faster, definitely not as slow, so she can move around a bit better. Her grab isn't as strong initially. So you might notice here there's a number below my health. That's our medal system. This is at the heart and the core of the character, because many moves will raise the medal system, like say the command grab, and you might notice there 2,000. That's not much, right? Like that's barely double the basic throw, but you know, we do it, and then oh, our medal raised by 1. How about we do it again? Okay. Oh, and now it did 2,300. Our medal went up again. Okay, let's try it again.
let us
Oh, the animation changed. Oh, now it's doing 2,700. Our metal went up again. Okay. Let's try it again. Oh, now it's doing 3,000. Now we're getting pretty real territory here. And our metal went up again to 5. Wow. And then we do it one more time. Oh, the animation's again different, right? And now we're doing more damage than Zangief. So she's effectively a steamroller model. She will start the fight at 1 metal. And her command grab and her hit grab, this guy here, will both raise the metal level. And the metal level is permanent. This isn't like Jamie's drinks. She will keep the metal level she has for the duration of the fight. So round 1, she's at her weakest. And potentially the final round, she's at her strongest. Because now things like the hit grab start doing a lot more damage. The command grab starts doing a lot more damage. And she's also changed. So in more recent patches and later times, her level 3 now also scales based off the metal level. So if you have maximum metals, her level 3 will do more damage than other characters' level 3s. So the metal system is at the heart of everything. So that's the big deal, right? But what's the everything else? Well, once again here, she's a bit more of a mobile grappler. Her walk speed is not bad. It's not best in class by any stretch, but she's not actively slow like, say, Lily or Zangief is, right? And also, her range is very good. Like, stand heavy kick's a great example. This move's got some range on it. She can hit you from far away. It's also a great bully button, because she'll always be able to, on punish counter, get at least some sort of guaranteed hit. And she's just full of good buttons. Like, she has some of the best anti-airs in the game, and on multiple levels. Like, it's very difficult to jump on her. Like, she doesn't have a true Shoryuken, if you will, but if you try to jump at her, like, you're gonna be struggling. It's kind of hard to get at her if she's mildly on the ball. And we talk about stand heavy kick. How about stand heavy punch? So this is a very unique mechanic. This is something that Lily and Geef have no analog for. So the move by itself is perfectly all right. But it has a follow-up, and the follow-up has a vacuum effect. And the vacuum effect brings you directly in with her at distinct advantage over you. And from there, it's basically, yes, am I going to just go for the hits? And I have distinct advantage over you, I'm going to win. Or are you going to be passive and eat the throw? And if you eat the throw, my metals go up, and I'm going to do more and more damage. And eventually the metals are going to get high enough that you can't afford to take this as a hit anymore. So 2 things to note. I have the bot set to random block right now. I don't know if they're going to block or not. There we go. See? So they get hit sometimes, they block. I don't know, right? So this is like maybe the single most hit confirmable move in the game. Like, the window to do the second hit is gigantic. You don't got to be good. I'm in my 40s, okay? This is easy for me. If you're like 20 years old or something, this is trivial. It's not a big deal. You have forever to confirm on hit or on block if you actually will press the second button or not. It is the easiest thing in the world. So basically, you're incentivized to use a good amount of this, right? And also, it does over half a drive gauge on block and damage, on block damage. So it's not bad. And also, it's -3 with the pushback, right? So like nobody's doing anything about it. The very recent buff, as of the most recent patch that changes up this pretty core mechanic for the character, is if this works as a punish counter, it now juggles the enemy. So forget the mix-up, they're juggled. You have guaranteed damage coming your way. Okay, so now if I got guaranteed damage, heck with the mix-up, right? Let's get some damage. Let's get some guaranteed damage. That hurts. That ain't nothing to take, right? So that is a pretty distinct buff. Now, in a situation you're going to be fishing for anyways, she can get this actual guaranteed damage. And say you don't necessarily want to go for like the home run swing or whatever, but like bare minimum, she can do her hit grab, get a metal level off of it, right? And still respectable damage. So that's a feather in her cap. Like, the thing she wants to do anyways did actually get quite a bit better. The thing where she struggles compared to a Zangief, she's faster, she's more mobile, she's got some gimmicks, like she has like a very quick low, she has a very quick overhead, so she can, like, you know, enforce a little bit of a mix-up from further away than, say, a Zangief. But when she's in, other than situations like a drive rush, for example, right, she has very few plus frames. Like, she has back heavy punch, but it's +1 with a good amount of pushback. Like, it's difficult to do much with that, versus Zangief is absolutely dripping with advantage frames. So she can't enforce the traditional grappler mix-up the exact same way. And she does have some utility as well. Like, she has her spin, and you can hold the spin, or if you do the spin, let it rock, that's the hit grab, right? And also you can do things like attack with a kick from it. It's technically anti-fireball, but as you can see, it's not amazing at it. You can sometimes do like legitimately very hard call outs, and you can say you can do that, then get hit by the fireball anyways in your instructional video trying to sell you on the move. And I failed, because once again, it's actually not great at going through fireballs. It's great at going through very obvious fireballs, but you know what? Like, just parry. Like, actually, most time you probably should just parry instead. Now, another weakness is she's not a character with a bad level 1. Her level 1 is actually one of the best in the game, in my opinion. So it's invincible in all the ways you want. It can go strike invincibility and throw invincibility. So when she's like in the corner, she'll have that, but she does not have the traditional uppercut style, you know, reversal, right? She doesn't have that. And fair enough, that's basically a weakness ascribed to all the grapplers in the game. That's not any different for her. And the big weakness compared to a Zangief is until she gets those medals up, she's just not as explosive. She's a little bit better at like the moment to moment, in that she's got better walk speed. Her buttons are very serviceable. She can occasionally get that big poke into, like, you know, force a mix. But she's, unless it's the final round with 5 medals, not going to be a character that can just like end the round in 10 seconds like Zangief could, right? So it's basically, do you want a bit more stability, or do you want a bit more just grappler going crazy? That's kind of the choice between Manon versus Zangief, right? Because Zangief is all the extremes of grapplerdom. Manon is more toned down. It'll get there eventually once those medals get up, but till they get up, it's a bit more muted, and she plays more traditional Street Fighter.
Started from the bottom and I'll never look back. Look at all my haters, y'all making them mad.
Yoga fire, not win. Yoga. Yoga. Not win. Yoga fire. Yoga.
Now for Dhalsim. So Dhalsim is one of the most unique characters in all of fighting game history, right? There's a reason he keeps showing up. He's not as popular as some of the other old-timer characters, but to be frank, there's a reason, because he's way harder. He's, I would say, the most difficult character in this game to play, right? Because he doesn't work like anybody else. As you can see here, he's slow. He don't move too quick. His jump, well, if you just take it on his face, it's the worst jump in the game. But he has a lot of unique strengths, not the least of which is he can kind of just punch you from the full screen away, right? And that's kind of a big deal. So that's why we call him a limb zoner. Now, he's still a traditional zoner, don't get me wrong. He's got all sorts of fireballs, and I mean all sorts. Like, he has the base fireball. He can hold the base fireball to make it multi-hitting. And if you hold it, it will beat a regular fireball, like, very easily. He can throw fireballs up in an angle. And one of the most deadly moves, period, in the game is the EX Yoga Arch. As it bounces, and then it'll hit you, right? It can bounce multiple times and still hit. It can even go behind the enemy, and it'll bounce back and correct on the other end. So it's very scary. It's a great move, right? So we have that. We got all sorts of Yoga Blasts, all sorts of Yoga Flames. So, like, when it comes to traditional zoning, he's really good, but stand medium punch, stand medium kick, stand heavy punch, down heavy punch, which is a true low, by the way. You got to block this crouching. And yes, that will go under fireballs. In fact, he's got a lot that'll go under fireballs. It's difficult to throw a fireball at Dhalsim and make it stick, because he can travel all sorts of elements of the screen. He has the Yoga Float, which got massively buffed in the most recent patch to basically double its speed. And he can do all his aerial attacks from it, making him very difficult to deal with, as he's basically just above the normal plane of combat. The majority of pokes, moves, fireballs, whatever, he'll be directly above it. And at a moment's notice, he can attack you, do a drill, teleport, and yes, he's the master of the teleport. He's got all sorts of teleports. His even though his base mobility is slow with the jump and the walk speed, his overall mobility with teleports, with float, with drill kicks, with all the various options is like almost kind of the best in the game. It's very, there's a big dichotomy between the two. The slow old man, then all of a sudden, he's literally anywhere he wants to be at any moment. And yes, he is the zoner, he's the keep away character, but don't confuse it that he's only a keep away character. He's got some of the best rush down in the game, actually. A well-timed yoga drill can give him tons of frame advantage on hit or on block. And all of a sudden he's +4 and he can throw you. Rest assured, he's got lots of ways to generate a lot of plus frames, right? And from weird angles that other characters can't easily do. And Lord forbid he throws you in the corner, because he's got some of the best throw pressure in the game. Like, does he have throw loops? Oh, yeah. Assuredly he does, right? Very easily at that. He can loop this stuff all day long. But it's not just a base loop. Like, Lord forbid you try to get out by other means, he'll have you done like dinner. Like, don't get it wrong. Don't get it confused, right? He can get some of his bigger combos if you try to jump out of the throw loop. Because a setup like that where I'll use medium Yoga Flame to cover the wake up while he changes the base frame data, and all of a sudden I'm going to get juggles and stuff like that. Like, his pressure, like, he's the zoner, yes, with a lot of zoning tools, but his pressure is great. So if he can, like, rush you down and he can zone you, like, what's the weakness, right? Well, his defense is weaker. He has no normal invincible level 1 super like most of the cast, and he has nothing at all like an invincible uppercut. Nothing even remotely like that. Like, if you jump at him, it's actually legitimately difficult to jump at him at all, because he's got 1.5 million ways to shut you down, but all of them he has to be on the ball. If he blinks for a second, none of those are invincible. He has to be on top of the situation. If he's not on top of the situation and he's just even a split second slow, then a lot of those won't work. So he has to really just be like on top of it, right? So if you catch him blinking, that could be the end of the round, because once he's knocked back, no Shoryuken, no invincible level 1. It needs to be at least a level 2 super or better for him to have any kind of invincibility. So once he's knocked down, that's when stuff becomes a problem. But I did mention no invincible level 1. There's a reason for that, because his level 1 comes in 3 flavors, and they're all quite good, and they all got buffed after launch happened. So now after launch, they're basically safe, and they do gray damage. So notice Akuma's health here. He's going to block all this, and then he has gray recoverable damage. So it'll heal over time, but say I tap him after the fact. So here we are again, right? So he's going to block this, and then, oh, tap, tap, taparoo. Oh, he just lost all that health on top of the damage, right? So now Dhalsim has extra game plans where he's incentivized to maybe burn a bar to make you lose a lot of life that now you're going to play differently because you want to play more defensively. And if he can just get that random, you know, yoga drill kick, you know, like a random throw, whatever, and you play defensively, you're going to lose all that gray health, right? So that's quite strong. So he has a use for the level 1 besides just damage. Although in another don't get it confused here moment, he actually has some of the best damage on level 1s. Like, it's actually a good deal higher than the average character gets. It's not the highest, but it's very easy to juggle with it with recent buffs to Yoga Blast. Heavy Yoga Blast now basically combos off any medium. So now basically if he can get any medium, he can get some form of level 1, and any random tap can hurt a lot. A lot. So the medium does the most damage, but stuff like the heavy has better speed, better vertical range for juggles. It all depends the angles, right? But yeah, his level 1 damage is quite high. So he's a character that's going to use level 1 more than the average character in combos to make it hurt. That's been kind of the big buff over since launch, right? Dhalsim will win more interactions than any other character in the game. Dhalsim is the highest APM character. Nobody presses more buttons than Dhalsim. If you just like always doing something, then he's actually the best character for you, because he gets to do stuff more than everyone else. For every 1 button someone's allowed to press normally, Dhalsim's allowed to press like 3 to 10 buttons. He gets to do the most things. He won't always win, but if you just always got to do something, then he's absolutely that character. And here's the thing now. In these situations where he'll randomly catch you in a lot of these low to medium stakes interactions, in a lot of those situations, he'll get more damage, especially recently, than he ever did before. Like, in recent times, Dhalsim's been shining a bit brighter. He still has very concrete defensive faults, but offensively, well, he's kind of been doing the best he's ever been right now. Like, he can just do so many weird things. Like, he can do an air fireball, and he's the only character that can do an air fireball while jumping backwards, by the way. Like, let alone neutral. Like, old Akuma here, he can do his air fireball, which is strong, but you better believe it has to be, like, either jumping forwards, or if it's neutral, it has to be an EX. Dhalsim's like, nah, I can just do it whenever. And also, if I want to do the enhanced version, I can teleport afterwards. So I can literally bop you, do that, and like land on your head, right? So the stuff Akuma can't do. And then like I can yoga drill, EX, teleport, land on, like, he can do a lot of things. The one maybe pro, maybe con is nobody has more polarizing matchups. Like if you are against Zangief, you're laughing all the way to the bank. Zangief struggles so hard. Like Zangief has to get in, right? And there's nobody harder to get in against when he's just tossing all this nonsense your way, right? Like it's so difficult, and he can teleport out, and like it's so hard. It's so hard. Conversely, take a character like Kimberly, where it's insanely difficult to keep her out. Like, for her getting in is not too hard. So then all of a sudden, Dhalsim loses a lot of his luster in this matchup. And now with his weaker defense and the fact she doesn't have to struggle to get in as difficult as like some other characters, he can spend most of the match in the corner, blocking them for dear life, right? So nobody has a worse or better matchup spread. Dhalsim has very few just even matchups. He's either usually winning it or losing it with very little in between. And, you know, if you're in the more competitive things, say if you're entering tournaments, that means he's a very shaky tournament character, right? But if you're just there to just hit buttons and have a good time, like legitimately, at bare minimum, nobody gets to press more buttons than Dhalsim. So if you just need that constant dopamine fix, like there's at least that. And like, once again, he's truly one of a kind. There is nothing remotely comparable to Dhalsim in this game. So you're in for a harder ride. He's a harder character, but there's a lot of fun to be had.
Started from the bottom and I'll never look back. Look at all my haters, y'all making them mad.
Fire!
Well, be gone. Well, no. Here, you Trenton. Meaningless efforts. To ashes.
Now on to JP from Dhalsim, another character that's kind of just doing his own thing, where no one else is really comparable. If you've ever heard anything about JP, you might have heard him, just some comparison that he's a Mortal Kombat character in Street Fighter. And you know what? You actually have me to blame for that. The first ever event, JP was a playable character, and I got to play him, and I'm like, wow, he's like a Mortal Kombat character. Because he's like a Mortal Kombat character. He doesn't play Street Fighter. He has Mortal Kombat style projectiles, like pillars. You don't like just travel like a regular fireball. You pick where it is on the screen. He's got a fireball that's a command grab. What? He's got a fireball that's an overhead, a fireball that's a low. These are not Street Fighter traits. He can set up portals that will eventually explode. He can set up portals and then teleport to these portals and like cross you up with an attack. Like he can do all sorts of weird things that are just not Street Fighter things you get to do. Like how about a bunch of fireballs into a full screen combo into a super, right? That's not a very Street Fighter trait, and yet here we are, right? So he's a very different kind of character. He's still good in classical Street Fighter, but he does it in such a different way than the rest of the cast. So, okay, what is he good at, right? Well, we talked about the fact he doesn't do traditional zoning. His fireball, unlike, say, a Chun-Li or Ryu, like, it doesn't got to travel the screen. It just is. It just is. Now, he does have a more traditional fireball as well, but he doesn't have to do it that way. He can use this with a combination of this, with a combination of he can set up that portal, departure, and it'll eventually explode, and it'll launch the enemy. And you better believe, when that launches, like, okay, you can combo after the launcher too, right? He's the fighting game equivalent of a Magic the Gathering blue deck. Like, he controls the screen. You have to really think about what's going on, because he can always reach out and touch you at any point. You're never safe from him or his influence. And least of which is, he's got great buttons. Like, he's got his walking cane, his stick, and lordy howdy, like, this is a great thing. It's got disjointed hitbox on a lot of moves. Crouch medium punch is a big time offender. Stand heavy punch is amazing and special cancelable, by the way. So that's very, very strong. And one of the most annoying things if you're fighting him is you can kind of convert any hit into a combo that's going to launch you full screen, and he's going to set up that portal, and now you just have to worry about that. It's going to eventually explode, And like, are you gonna parry? Are you gonna not parry? Like, what are you gonna do? Because he can just manually detonate these at will as well. He's gonna send more pillars your way. He's gonna try to force you to parry. And then when he forces you to parry, he's not gonna do anything. So he can make you waste your gauge. Because one of the worst things you can do when that's there is just preemptively parry. Because it will parry it if it goes off, sure. But if he catches you preemptively parrying, like, he can just teleport to you, get a punish counter throw, and get a good amount of damage. So that means the best way to do it is to wait till like the last second. And if you wait till the last second, that means you're not parrying this, you're not parrying any ghosts coming your way. Like, it can be difficult. He can definitely drain your gauge. So again, good projectile, good non-standard projectile. The portal controls a giant portion of the screen. And then to top it off, he has great range on his normals. And like that crouch heavy punch is one of the hardest. It's a one button short you can kind of deal. Unlike other anti-air normals, this actually is hard-coded to have some invincibility. Like, it's not a lot, but he has some upper body invincibility. See, it's like not infallible, right? But as long as you're mildly on the ball, you can do stuff with it. You can do stuff with it. Not the least of which is special cancelable. So when people land, you can make them land into like one of your overhead or low ghosts. And by the way, if you hold the button, you can feint them. So you do not even have to commit. Like, you can feint it and recover a lot quicker than usual. So now, okay, if they go for a parry, well, you know, they parried nothing. Or even worse, they go for a parry. That one ghost is a command grab as well, remember, right? So they're going to eat crap. Now, okay, what's a weakness here? He has all this. Well, one, he doesn't have a traditional style reversal. He has a counter. And it's a bit different because it actually can counter throws unlike most fighting game counters. So it's actually not even a bad defensive move, but it's just not a standard defensive move. And then, well, we talked about all the zoning, right? The ghosts do come with a little bit of a problem. In that, people can go by them if they're fast enough. Like, you see that, right? It takes time for the ghost to kind of do its little attack. And if you're doing that kind of stuff and they're screaming forward with, like, say Honda does headbutt or whatever, see, it didn't have time to go off, right? Because he's moving so far forward so fast. So it's not like a regular fireball where it just would hit Honda in the head if he just came at you, right? So that's a decided weakness. And to that point, the majority of the cast of the game can literally just drive rush their way in, and like your move just won't go off before they hit you. So it's just slower with anything remotely fast. So that's a big problem. And of course, if they're doing things like a headbutt or a drive rush, that also means these like placement button specific moves, depending on what button you press, right? They can literally just be like past it by the time you press the button, right? So he's very susceptible to anyone that does anything with like a sudden burst of forward speed. Unlike a regular fireball, where in any of those situations, they would literally just run face first into it. So it's very strong, but it has a detailed and noted weakness. Now, of course, we just talk weaknesses, right? Let's go back to strength, right? So JP has like maybe the best overall super package in the game. He's got a very strong level 1, and it's invincible, by the way, and it's a projectile. So there can be a lot of situations where, for one reason or the other, the opponent's like very far away, and guess what? Projectile, so he'll get it. It's a level 1, so it'll have minimum scaling. It'll do better in a longer combo. So that's nice, right? That's nice. And of course, it's a way just to say, get off me as well, because it has a good fast startup as well. Then he's got the level 2. If Rashid didn't exist, this would probably be the best level 2 in the game. But Rashid exists, so we'll get to it when we get to it. But the level 2 is, no matter where you are, he'll summon a bunch of ghosts. Okay. So like that seems strong enough on its face, right? But here's the thing, they attack at different angles. So it's mid, overhead, low, overhead. So you have to stand block, crouch block, stand block on its face. And rest assured, there's a lot of ways for me as JP to force you into the block. And while you're worrying about blocking those, how about you worry about blocking my own lows, or maybe my own overheads, or maybe I'll try to throw you during a gap, right? It's a mix-up engine in and of itself. For a character that's supposed to be dedicated to the zone, he shouldn't be a mix-up character, but he can do it. And of course, it's very easy for him to set up. He has very strong, like, basic hit confirm strings that will just go right into it. And if it goes right into it, you better believe you're going for the ride, because you are getting big time comboed into the same stuff he's going to go for anyways. And you just ate a ton of damage. You went full screen, and we're beginning the zoning journey all over again, right? So it just works out. It's a pressure engine. It's great for combos in and of itself. He has ways to switch sides in the middle of a combo. Like say we're stuck in the corner, right? And we get jab, jab. That's not impossible. That's not impossible at all.
Do enjoy this.
There we go. So we switch sides, and I put the departure of the portal on your head. Now you have to worry about the mix-up. Like, that's scary. That's scary. So I could throw you right into this bad boy, like, realistically, and guess what? Game over. You lose. And I guess let's talk about the level 3. So, and there's so much more you can do with the level 2. It'd be its own video. But level 3, like, it's cool. Like, most level 3s just exist to do damage. They don't have much utility. His actually has utility. Because once again, like a Mortal Kombat character with a fatal blow, or an X-ray, depending on the game, he's got a full screen check. Oh, I just caught you doing whatever from full screen? Oh, gotcha, game over. Because he can do that. He has a full screen check. So if you do anything with any kind of recovery from full screen, he's got you dead to rights with his level 3. So he's a great level 1, a great level 2, a great level 3. What's the weakness? His reversal's not the best? He's a strong character. I've been saying this for a very long time. He's the most slept on character in the game. The most recent Capcom Cup, the $1 million winner, played this character. And when Season 3 happened, his change was like, nah, he's good. Don't worry about it. And they just basically left him the same character he was before. He plays very differently than the rest of the cast. He's not as easy to get into compared to like a Ryu, Akuma, or a Ken or whatever. But trust me when I say he's effective.
Started from the bottom and I'll never look back. Look at all my haters, y'all making them mad.
You, right?
So going to Blanka now. So Blanka is another character that's hard to classify. His archetype is Blanka, because only Blanka plays like Blanka no matter what game you're in, right? You have characters that can like take a trade or two, but he's a charge character. He rolls around, right? He's got the Blanka ball, and it's a whole thing. And he's got a lot of fun traits, but especially in Street Fighter 6, he's got a very fun trait. He's got Blanka-chan! So he's got a little buddy. And his little buddy, you can turbocharge it and send him on his way. And in fact, there's a lot of ways to turbocharge it. Like, depending on what move you do, makes him act in a lot of different crazy ways. Like, if you want to burn, say, a super, and you can, trust me, it'll work. You can turn him into a deadly missile, and you'll just fling himself across the screen. So this is one of the best mix-up and pressure tools in the game. There is very few things in this game scarier than waking up in the corner and this little guy is sitting there right by your feet, because Lord knows you make one wrong move, you will lose the game. So Blanka, even though we just mentioned mix-ups and pressure, like, he's very fundamentally sound. Like, he's got a bunch of good normals, good range. Like, he's got stuff like back medium kick, the rock crusher. It's very interesting in that it is advantage on block, which is, you know, very nice. Not very many advantage moves in the game. Stuff like stand medium punch, crouch medium punch, both great range, great for neutral. Blanka, another character very difficult to jump at, because if he has charge, you can just do Blanka ball, and you're not getting past that. But he doesn't need that, because he can just hit you with like stand heavy kick, which is already an amazing anti-air. And the worst thing for you as the jumper, he hits you with a counter hit, he will put you in a float state. And if you're in a float state, you can get juggled by anything. That's actually one of his newer buffs. He can juggle you into his EX command grab. And look at that. That's almost 3,000 damage. Off a random jump, that's a titanic amount of damage to take. And yes, by the way, he does have a command grab. It's definitely not like Zangief or whatever. It's like not a game winner. It's very slow. But it's there just to kind of gimmick people out, catch them by surprise. Although the enhanced version is a good deal faster. That one you can definitely catch people sleeping with. And it does have a hard knockdown. So you can knock them down. Okay, do this, like with a Blanka ball or something, like have so much advantage right in front of their face. Like even the Blanka ball, like the base Blanka ball is, okay, it hits you, knocks you down, that's great. They added a very fun punch counter Street Fighter 6. So you can basically like full screen, get a conversion off it. It's not huge, but it is something. It's also another move you can't afford the block. Here's the thing, it's basically safe almost against everyone in the game. There's a couple examples, but look how much drive gauge damage it does every time you block it. It's not a move you can afford to block many times. So when you're trying to do something like a parry, or a drive impact or something, light Blanka ball, it starts quick, but it'll basically like go away right in front of the face and then you go for a quick throw or something like that. So he's very gimmicky. Add stuff like the hop. The hop is a command hop, will go through the opponent, it will go through players even on block stun with special cancelable moves. So I can do this, hop, grab you on the other side, and then you're like, wait, what just happened? We'll call that the random factor, because he can random you out like few characters ever can. Like random slide, that's a big one. So he just has an incredibly quick, unseeable low that he can hit you with like from this far away, and you blink, you got hit. You're not reacting to it. And also helps for him that he can use it to go underneath most projectiles in the game. So if he catches you just throwing too many fireballs, he can just slide in on you and just go from there. He's just a weird character in that you can play him hyper competently, like fundamentally, right? You can play correct Street Fighter, just poking people out, getting reads, all that. Like he's good at that. And then all of a sudden he goes, rah! And hit you with like a full screen cross up that's plus on block, right? Like he's an odd boy like that. Jimmy was raised in the jungle, so he's he lives by a different creed. He's also just got a really good bevy of command normals. So like he's got the old Rock Crusher, just a nice, very solid, very competent overhead, 20 frames. You'll catch a lot of people sleeping with this. He's got the old double knee, very easy to hit confirm. Like, did I get the hit? Cool. Quick little combo. Sure, why not, right? We also have the back medium kick we mentioned earlier. So it's heavily advantage on hit. Like, you can very easily kind of just go into any combo from it. And it's plus on block, so that's really strong. We got slide that we mentioned. He's also got forward heavy punch, which just gives him an incredible, like, very non-standard burst of range. It's not terribly safe on block. You gotta space it. But he can actually just hit you from much further than you think he would have like any right to hit you from if you space it correctly. So it's a nice little tool and does a lot of damage. He's also got the hops we mentioned, and then he's got the coward crouch. So he can go very low to the ground, very low to the ground. Like here we are crouching against Mai's fan. Okay, that didn't work. But we can coward crouch under the projectile. So we're even lower than a regular crouch, just like that slide. And from it, we actually have two moves. He either has a command jump, from which he can do his aerial Blanka ball, and yes, that's a thing. Also, this move is stupid, by the way. It has an enhanced version. So there's a lot of times where, like, if you're scared about being thrown in the corner, you can just jump back to it immediately, and, like, it can be plus on block, right? So if they did nothing, like, they're waiting for, like, EX reversal, because up Blanka ball is a reversal, right? So they're waiting to punish you. You can be like, nah, oh, you blocked? Okay. I might be neutral or negative depending, but I can also, depending on the angle, just be plus, and then it's my turn. Like, it's very silly. Blanka defensively in the corner, he actually is better off than most of the casts, because he can threaten a normal invincible reversal, he can threaten a level 1, and he can threaten jump back EX Blanka ball, and so he's very strong defensively in that way. But yeah, the other thing about Crowd Crouch is it has a launcher. So a lot of his combo structure will just involve going into whatever, coward crouch, launch, follow-up of choice. So he's a good mix of strong and gimmicky, and that's great. And then, well, hey, got to get into the thing. We talked about the Blanka dolls, right? How about that level 2? So level 2 turbocharges them as a buff. And then all the Blanka balls, like, you can get multiple, you can change directions. So how about a combo like this? So there we go. Tons of damage. We still have a full bar to mess around with. We even tossed a Blanka Chan at the end. And we're still at frame advantage. We're still plus, right? And certain setups have even more plus frames or less. And also, when you have this up, as long as you're doing a combo, it completely removes all the charge requirement timings for having a Blanka ball. So you just hit back forward button or down up button, no charge needed. So very, very powerful. It also makes all Blanka balls electric. So say we have Blanka Chan out here, right? We don't even have to do actual electricity. we could just do, say, a reversal, and it'll still send this on the way. So there's ways you can scam it where you can do your invincible reversal and you should be punished, but the Blanka channel actually saved your life. So you can scam out stuff big time. And of course, once you have the Blanka Chan out, it's pressure time. They get a random hit, they gonna die, basically. That's kind of how that works. Like, it's very trivial to get a lot of high damage scenarios here. There's so much mix-up, so much potential. It needs its own guide. But once Blanka Chan is in the corner, once he's set off one way or another, hope you blocked right. And let, of course, you know, Hop can steal the corner, create all sorts of mix-up by itself. Like right here. Like, so the Blanka's going to set it up, right? And here we are. And if I try to do anything, well, that thing's still there, right? Like, I can't afford to take my turn because I'll just get hit and he'll hit me and get a combo. So there's so many gimmicks and so many gigas. So if you want someone who's both fundamentally sound and incredibly gimmicky, like Blanka is that guy.
I'm ready for a fight when it's on, it's on. I'm charging like a bull when it's on, it's on.
Okay, now coming off of Blanka. So Blanka, very tricky, lots of gimmicks. What if you want no frills? May I introduce you to Guile? So Guile is about as no frills as it gets. He's a zoner, and he's the home of the absolute best projectile in the game, the Sonic Boom. So why is this so good? Well, one, it's a charge move. And it's a charge move because it has to be. If Sonic Boom was just a quarter circle forward punch, it'd be overwhelmingly the best move in the game. Charge is there to hold it back just a little bit. Because Sonic Boom can be fast, it can be very fast, it can be slow, or it can be very, very, very slow, right? Whatever flavor you want. When it's fast, it can be hard to react to. You might just get knocked on your butt. And when you're knocked on your butt, you better leave. There's more booms coming your way, right? Because that's what he does. He throws booms. And eventually the idea is you get frustrated and you jump and then you get flash kicked. Because when he's down backing for booms, well, down back is also flash kick charge, right? And that's, of course, the anti-air, basically. Like a huge hitbox. It'll snipe everything out of the air. You can't jump on Guile ever. And so if you can't jump on Guile, and you're probably not out zoning Guile, what are you doing? Well, you're doing a lot of this. Just slowly, inch by inch, gaining ground. He's a character that will frustrate the opponent. His gameplay, well, once again, the game plan is zero frills. It's only up until this game he finally had a core third special move. Before he always had to rely on like a super or a V-trick or like whatever. So a Sonic Boom, Flash Kick, that's it. Now, we also have Sonic Cross. And Sonic Cross can be a projectile in and of its own right. Like, it does persist for quite a while, and people can run into it, so it helps the game plan in that way. But it also can enhance a Sonic Boom. And then it turns into a two-hit projectile. And when it's a two-hit projectile, that means he doesn't have to burn bar on winning zoning wars. He can. EX Boom is a hell of a move, don't get me wrong, right? He can, but he can, with the Sonic Cross, meterlessly have multiple hits and just beat regular projectiles. And of course, what's the game plan from here, right? Eventually, you're going to hit one of those very slow Sonic Booms, and he can walk behind those just fine, right? And don't get it confused. He does not need charge to anti-air you in any way. He's got some of the best anti-air buttons in the game. Charge just means it's guaranteed you're extra dead. But between crouch heavy punch and stand medium kick, he's sniping people out of the sky. So when he's walking behind that slow boom, that doesn't mean you get to just jump. And of course, he can drive rush behind it because that's Street Fighter 6. And maybe it'll be a drive rush overhead and then you'll get a combo. Maybe it'll be a drive rush slow and you'll get a combo. Maybe if he's doing something nice and slow, he can actually get out ahead of it and throw you before it even connects, right? Because they're probably blocking or parrying or something, right? So it's all about the boom. You're going to be throwing roughly, I don't know, 7,000 of these a match. That's the game plan. It's basic. It's not meant to be fancy. It's not to say he can't do fancy, because he does have stuff we call boom loops. So, like, there's stuff like that. It's certainly more advanced. It takes time. You don't have to know them, although it certainly helps to know them, right? But if you want some fancier stuff, you can do it. Not the least of which is level 2. You can throw hell of sonic booms, and some of the most elaborate combos in the game are based off his level 2. And rest assured, I'm not labbing them for like hours just for this video. They're out there, trust me. they're good, but they're a little bit beyond me and my old fingers. Guile doesn't really have any weaknesses. Like, he's got all the reversals. The only thing you can knock is that he's a charge character, and like, that's not a bad thing. He does also have the perfect mechanic, like Luke does. So that's a perfect boom versus a regular boom. A perfect boom will do a little bit more damage. It's 50 more damage, right? You don't got to stress it too hard. It's also not too hard to get a perfect boom. The window is actually pretty lenient. Just make sure you hit punch the same time you hit forward, and you'll get it, right? Besides that, he's just a bundle of like really good normals, really good, just fundamental play. And of course, like old stuff like the knee bazooka's there. So hold back, light kick, and he'll move forward while you get to keep charge, right? So it's a way to just keep the fun times going, gaining screen while keeping your charge. Back fist, by the way, is very plus on block. Although this game compared to older games has a very decided weakness in that it can't hit crouchers. So it's not as strong as it used to be, I guess. But overall, super solid, super fundamental. Like even Ryu, old man Ryu compared to Guile is gimmicky, right? That's how solid and fundamental base Guile is. He is here to play Street Fighter. That's it. That's all. Sonic boom, and eventually you're going to jump, flash kick, done.
When it's all said and done, they gon' call me a legend. I love to break bread, but I'd rather break records.
Viral arrow! An opening. Viral arrow! No more games. Infiltrate! Execute! Assessing damage.
Now let's talk fan favorite Cammy. So even though at the very beginning I'll list her as Rushdown, don't get it confused. She's super strong and neutral too. She's a very blessed character in that she's good at a lot of things. She can like rush you down, pressure you, all that kind of stuff with all of her amazing buttons, but with these same amazing buttons like medium kick, stand heavy kick, heavy punch, medium punch, crouch, heavy punch. Like she can just as easily buttons you down in neutral and win that way too, right? But she is pretty straightforward. There's realistically little she's lacking. Like, I guess she can't throw a fireball, right? But she's never meant to be that kind of character. And also, when it comes to fireballs, very few characters are more blessed with, like, anti-fireball technology. So if you struggle against the old classic projectile, she's a great character for it. Because, like, we got spinning back fists. That'll be a punch counter, by the way. And if you do the hard crawl out, by the way, like, you better believe that leads to a combo. No worry if you're blocked. Oh, it's plus on block. Sure, why not, right? And the enhanced version is a little gimmicky because it can body swap, so you have to block the other way. That's always tricky. Speaking of fireballs, hey, she's got a dive kick, so that's always very handy to have. Although dive kicks for her especially have been toned down over time because they were very strong and very obnoxious. And don't get me wrong, they're still very good. It's always good to have a dive kick. It's one of those deals, aim for their shins or lower, right? The lower you aim it, the more advantaged you'll be. And if you want to burn some bar on it as well, that's great. In fact, for the enhanced version, even if you are monstrously bad at spacing it, it's always safe on block, which is great in throw loop situations, as she's one of the characters that can kind of more easily get around it. Because if you happen to be in that throw loop situation, just jump out and do X dive kick. The worst that'll happen is you're -2 if they block. And if you catch it, it'll be a punish counter, and then you'll get a small combo. So there's that. And of course, she also has a checkmate level 3, in that you kind of throw a fireball from full screen, you're going for the ride, right? So maybe it's not as good as JP's in the end, because if it's like literally full screen, some characters can still block in time. It's not magic, like versus JP, who's literally magic, right? But still, it's very, very good. But yeah, for Cammy, main game plan is you just get a quick knockdown and you just pressure from there. All of her knockdown pressure is some of the best and easiest in the game, like even off the most basic lights. Just dash forward and like threaten to throw. And say if you get thrown, okay, now guess drive rush, right? Like she can just kind of zoom on in and there's very little the defending player can do about it other than something invincible, because the frame data just works in a way that she's always allowed to bulldog you. And it's very easy to bulldog with some of the best normals in the game. Like 6 frame stand medium punch with 4 active frames. An 8 frame stand heavy punch, which is really good. Crouch heavy punch is fantastic. It's so advantage on regular hit that it'll naturally go into crouch medium punch as a combo. And then, well, that sort of writes itself, right? And then you count for the fact that it's advantage on block. So if they block this bad boy, you tap a quick light first, you're always gonna win. So that's very nice to say the least. When it comes to them pokes, stand heavy kick's got some real range to it. Stand medium kick's a little bit quicker. And also got good range. Crouch medium kick, well, she's definitely a crouch medium kick drive rush kind of character. And don't you worry, she's pretty good at it, especially with some of the more recent buffs. With a backspin knuckle here, creating a bit of a juggle state after the opponent's caught in a juggle itself. And from there, rest assured, you can do all sorts of silly juggles, all sorts of silly combos. Don't worry about that, right? But this change can create some scenarios where we talked about like pressure is one of her best things, right? So this is a new pressure option. She has her hooligan combination, the charge version specifically. And now with certain combos and combinations here, like they have to wake up into it. They have no recourse other than doing something invincible. And what's hooligan combination, right? Well, I guess we're getting ahead of ourselves, right? So she can leap at the enemy and do a variety of things. A dive kick, an axe kick, an actual honest-to-God throw, which is not that bad. And the held version, normally the enhanced version is the held version, right? But the held version has more startup, so it's worse in that way. But in combinations like this, it'll give you time to do it because they're stuck in the air for so long. And the held version, axe kick gets a lot better. Like that axe kick, the held version, comes double hitter. The dive kick comes a better version of dive kick, which will always be a combo on hit for a jab and will always be neutral on block, even with awful spacing. And then that command grab becomes like an honest god combo starter, right? And that could be a game winner in and of itself. Now that one you can crouch. That one ain't free. You can crouch that one, right? But the idea is if they stand up to block the axe kick, which is an overhead, you have to stand block it, especially now in this version, because you know, you'll get comboed, right? So if they worry and stand block it, then there you go. And what if they do commit to that wake up reversal? Well, fun story. You can just cancel a hooligan midair and just drop to the ground. You'll have time to block. So like, there's a lot of ways, right? So new pressure routes in this version here. Cammy's simplistic. Like, she's not a hard character, nor is she meant to be. She's here with just a wide variety of great buttons. She'll knock you down some way, some form, somehow. And she did have one of the more autopilot knockdowns before off her heavy punch target combination. And before you just double dash and you still be like in their face with pressure. They nerfed that. They nerfed a couple very belligerent examples in this patch, Season 3. But then again, all you got to do is just burn a bar. Like, just drive rush in and scream in with your already plus on block move. It'll be big time advantage on hit or even more on block, right? And you can still get the frame perfect stuff that they can't hope to mash out against. Or, you know, they're going to block anyways, throw them. And then get your throw pressure, right? And so, like, the pressure's still there, and she has new options. They're moving things around a little bit. And rest assured, she's a character with an uppercut, so that's really nice to have. You always want an uppercut if you can get it, right? Full invincible. In fact, it used to be a bit stronger because it would switch sides. So if you were in the corner, you would do this and you switch sides and they were in the corner, but they thought that was a bit too silly. And besides that, she even has like amazing button anti-air, so if you're not even ready for a dragon punch. She even has an air throw. Like, she's very blessed on defense in a lot of ways with that and like the way to get out of throw loops that we mentioned earlier. She is simple to use. Simple's not a bad thing. Simple's not a derogatory term. If you're just looking to play some, you know, classical Street Fighter, like, this is that character. She has a variety of ways to knock you down. Her pressure, once she knocks you down, is some of the easiest and some of the best in the game. Especially in the corner, she's got tons of frame kills. where the move can hit much later than it should. Normally, point blank, crouch, heavy punch, 7 frames, right? If we do the frame kill off this basic scenario, it's going to hit so late into the move, it's going to be 10 frames. And that means it naturally can go into a back heavy kick launcher, for example. Or say we hit him with crouch heavy punch to begin with, right? Which will naturally go into crouch medium punch. So we can do this, go and do heavy arrow, whiff, stand light kick, which will leave us at advantage again. This is a frame kill, so we get an auto time crouch heavy punch. And again here, once again, plus 10 frames of advantage. And say it gets blocked, like, oh well, like it's really no big deal, because now it's plus 4 frames of advantage. Normally, it's plus 1, right? Because we're hitting so much later, all the numbers change. It's very easy. She has some of the most straightforward offense in the game. So if you just want to go, and bite onto people like a bulldog and then never let go, she is exactly that character.
When it's all said and done, they gon' call me a legend. I love to break bread, but I'd rather break
So enter Juri Han. Juri is absolutely one of the most popular characters in Street Fighter, and definitively the most popular character since the original Street Fighter 2 cast. And that's helped out a lot in Street Fighter 6 specifically, because Juri was always kind of mildly complicated, especially in Street Fighter 4, oh my god. Everyone who wanted to play with her would drop her immediately because she's a weird negative edge character, right? Now she works like a normal character. She still has her Fuha stock system. What is that? So of course, go back and one of the kicks, and she'll build a stock. And you can build up to 3 stocks, and also helps that each kick does different things. Specifically, like say the light one, oh, it's nice and safe on block with pushback. And the heavy one, well, it's a straight up launcher that can lead the combo, so that's nice. It also helps that building the stocks also destroys projectiles. So it's just a way to interact with someone from full screens being a little bit annoying as well while building up your own resource. And what happens once you build up these stocks? Well, then we have the quarter circle forward series, light, medium, heavy kick. Each one's a different move, and they give you, well, different moves. So light kick is a weird projectile. It's very not standard. As you can tell here, like for one, doesn't go across the screen fully. But also, you may notice here, it's nice and slow. She can get out further than it. Also helps with the fact she's one of the fastest characters in the game, which is always a bonus. But since it's nice and slow, I can do this, drive rush, and be out ahead of it. And that has a lot of fun implications. Not the least of which, I can do this and like throw you while you're worrying about blocking it. That's always nice. Or while you're blocking it, maybe I'll go for a quick overhead. Maybe I'll go for a quick low. Maybe you just gotta guess. And maybe you just gotta deal with all sorts of pressure. It's really, really strong. The medium kick version of Corsical Forward is, well, it's basically combo fodder for the most part. You do it, and then you're gonna have enough frame advantage to always be able to go into crouch medium punch. And from crouch medium punch, well, you can basically do whatever comes natural to you at that point, right? A lot of options. And the Corsical Forward heavy kick is usually a combo ender. It's a big, just double hitting move. And it's a solid way to end combos, especially because it creates a little bit of a juggle state where if they're very high up, you can actually get your level 1 super after the fact, which is very nice and handy. So here's what's different compared to older games. So before in older games, if you didn't have your stocks, tough luck. Now, you can always do these moves. They're just not going to be as good without a stock. Like the projectile, well, it doesn't project very well, right? Let's put it that way. The combo fodder move, it still works. Just you're not going to get as big of a combo. Like you can not go into crouch medium punch, but you still go for like crouch light punch. So that's something. And heavy, well, it still knocks down, just not as much damage, and you know, maybe not as good properties, right? But it still does its job. So even if you don't have resource on demand, it's, well, one, it's not difficult to build, so that's very nice, right? But you're not out of the gate. And if you're looking to spend some bar, you can always get that move you want, even if you don't necessarily have the stock for it. And this is extra nice because you can actually do the same move twice per combo. And now have a look at this. This is gonna be interesting. So here we're gonna do that combo. Oh, what was that? I did 2 of them in a row. You're allowed to do that. You can actually chain all of them together. So I go this and get all 3 in one go. And I don't even have to do multiple motions. I just go light, medium, heavy. But the beautiful part is you can do it in any order. So say I get a knockdown, right? I can knock them down with heavy, then do light, and they have to wake up into that projectile. And that can be a very scary situation. So now just to show you a completion here, we'll use all 3 in that scenario.
Nice. Let's go. I'll crush you. Gotcha.
All right, so there we go. We got ourselves a little bit of a combo going on, right? Because everything's very free form with Juri. That's part of her strengths is everything kind of leads to everything as long as you kind of got the stocks to do it. Either you can create some grander combos, or like we talked about here, like stocks leading themselves very easily. Then you get like very strong like knockdown situations, right? You know, become direct, like it's very strong. And then add to the fact that she's fundamentally sound in and of itself, right? Like once again, good walk speed. She's got world-class buttons here. Stand medium kick's always good. Stand heavy kick if you need the range. Stand heavy, it's fantastic. One of the best bully buttons in the game in neutral because it's got great range for its relative speed. It's special cancelable, and you're always basically going to be able to bully and like get free stocks with it. So that's really strong. It's near impossible to jump at her if she's on the ball because she already has crouch heavy punch on top of a traditional uppercut style move. And yes, this is full invulnerable, so that's really strong. Gotta worry about up close here. Like stand medium punch is 6 frames plus 2 on block. So you do this and like you have to worry about the fact that she can easily check you with another button real quick, and it's gonna be difficult to stop her. So she can already contest very well neutral, and when she's on top of you, like she has very strong buttons and a hugely amazing suite of command normals. Like say forward heavy punch, right? Just double hitting by itself. And if it does happen to be blocked, it's not the end of the world because it's only -4. At most ranges you do it at, it'd be safe because it's got a lot of range to it, right? So that's safe at that range. And being 2 hits, it's special cancelable, so you can just be like, oh, did I get my hit? Okay, sure. Like, it's one of the easiest hit confirms in the game. And so from there, you could drive rush after the fact, or you can build a quick stock, or whatever you want to do, right? Then there's back heavy kick, the axe kick. This recently got buffed. So it's very good at like sniping crouching moves, like low to the ground. And so now it's like a good preventative move in neutral. Forward medium punch is an advancing normal. Forward medium kick's the overhead. And of course, drive rush overhead writes itself. Especially because it leads to easy combos, right? So like we have that. Heck, medium punch, her target combo off medium punch got big buff a few patches ago. And now it can go into her level 1 super. So it gives her great reach to close out a round. Like maybe you don't want to burn all your bars on the big thing, but say you need that extra bit of reach to close out the round. Now, that's probably what the doctor ordered, right? Because level 1s have minimum scaling and you can always make it hurt. Another thing, she has a dive kick. It's not one of the better ones, but it's better to have one than to not have one, I suppose. And then there's Feng Shui Engine. So it's her level 2 or unique level 2. And this is a buff. And basically, it lets you chain anything into anything. Normally, Street Fighter combo structure doesn't work that way, but when you have this live, Street Fighter combo structure is now what you say it is, basically, right? So any light can go into any other light, then it can go into a medium, and then the mediums can go into heavies, and well then, Bob's your uncle after the fact. And one of the changes they made to it over time is there's the base version, right? And if you hold the button, it'll become a hit. And the hit, like level 2s normally would, will do drive gauge damage, right? So before at launch, that wasn't a thing. Now it is. So you can do, you know, hit them, steal some drive gauge like a normal level 2 would. But since you're doing a custom combo, that means you can combo into a drive impact, which already steals bar on hit, right? So you can create scenarios where you can actually do a lot of drive gauge damage. Like take a scenario here, I know they're close to burnout. Then I can do something about it. I can do more than just the 1 drive gauge damage. Okay, so here we go. Okay, I got my hit confirm. You're low on drive gauge. Let's go for it. And then there we go. You're in burnout, right? Because I can get that initial hit plus the drive impact and part of a combo. That's very rare. Not many people can do something like that, especially off level 2, unless you're JP, and then you get like 3 drive impacts, I think. But certain characters are more privileged than others, but still, for Juri, that's very strong. And the fact you can get whatever combo, and then it's not like the buff goes away. It's there till it runs out. And it gives her very unique offense that other characters do not get. like the dreaded double overhead, because this still applies to everything you do. All the normals cancel each other, even in the air, right? So I can jump in, jump heavy punch, jump heavy kick, and both are overheads. Both have to be stand blocked. And as soon as you realize that both have to be stand blocked, right, then it just comes, doop, didn't do it, and then it went low immediately, right? So she can jump at you with impunity. There's a lot of like setups where this is basically guaranteed and safe jumps, right? And you just gotta flip a coin. I hope you guess right, basically. All the more terrifying if you're in this scenario in the corner right after you got burned out, right? So she's got a lot of unique strengths for sure. If I had to ascribe any weaknesses, is basically a lot of her best stuff comes from having stocks and the pressure and uniqueness that having stocks gives, especially her fireball, right? Her fireball being very unique, you know, it doesn't interact with other fireballs. It's very low to the ground. So even if the traditional Hadouken comes your way, it's going to go underneath it and still go where it's going. So it's very powerful in that way, but the weakness is you can't use it defensively. A lot of people will use a Hadouken or a Sonic Boom as a defensive tool. Like, you got to come at me, right? And you got to circumvent the maze. This is basically a purely offensive tool. It's a very strong one for sure, but it's only got one real use in that manner. So she's only at her strongest when the resources are filled up. And if they're not, it's not like she's weak. Once again, she still has amazing buttons. She still has fantastic neutral. She's got a very abusable drive rush. She's got like very, you know, easy throw loops. Maybe not the best in class, but if you're just looking for the easiest frame perfect stuff, it's all there. She's just a grab bag of really good abilities. In this game, they finally made Juri work, in my opinion, compared to Street Fighter 4 and 5. And she's fun to play and can just do a lot of things. And honestly, you can't go wrong with Juri.
I'm ready for a fight when it's on its own. I'm charging like a bull when it's on its own.
I summon you, Great Desert Storm! Rashid wins!
Moving on to Rashid. Do you like rushdown? Do you like mixing people up? Do I got a character for you? Now, before we even get to it, I want to go into, I guess, one of his weaknesses. He doesn't have the strongest buttons in the world, especially compared to some of the other better characters in the game. But once you get past that, and I guess some of his anti-airs are a little suspect, he kind of has like best in class or just about best in class everything else. His mobility is unmatched. Like, for one, he is a very rare character with a wall jump. It's not a very common trait, so that's very nice to have. But then something like Eagle Spike, he can just be on you whenever. How about, he does obviously have a traditional dash. He's the only character that can actually outright run. Like, not just drive rush run, because drive rush is effectively run, if we're being real about it, right? But he has an honest to God run. And he's got options from the run. Like, it's not just for jokes, not just for show. He can do stuff from it. Not the least of which is there was a patch a while ago where that low off the run can now combo into his level 3. So that's really nice. That's handy. He has what might as well be a double jump. So another very unique trait. It's very easy for him to move around. And by the way, this move does have a hitbox attached to it. You can use it in combos on top of just general mobility. This also can really mess up certain characters' anti-air timings. There's actually, for some characters, like a legitimately difficult time dealing with this as a move as he comes on in. He's got all sorts of flips, and this can switch sides with the enemy, by the way. And he can even like double flip, basically. So he can kind of scream in on you from like actually full screen into a cross up. So that's interesting. And then when it comes to like stuff like mix-ups, hey, he's got like traditional overhead. He can drive rush it for more frames. That's always nice. He's got the Arabian Cyclone, which is a very tricky move because it can be used as a projectile shield. And also from it, he can kind of scream in flying at you. And yes, by the way, you better believe he gets an overhead off that, right? Or he can come in kind of low as well, right? He can be very tricky about it. And we mentioned that projectile. He's a rushdown character, don't get me wrong, but like, he's not helpless from full screen. He's got some stuff. Not the least of which is like the enhanced versions like go for straight angle. And sometimes you want these weird angles that like the medium and heavy version give, right? Because it will prevent jumps very strongly and you can hold them. And you might notice here, there's a little bit of a twister behind. What's that? Well, that buffs basically a lot of the next moves coming through it. Like say spinning mixer. which is just really good combo fodder. Always leaves you advantage in front of them. So like, okay, you just got hit. Are you gonna get thrown, or what's gonna happen, right? Now, say we do that through this little tornado. Oh, that just got a lot better, didn't it? And stuff like buffing Eagle Spike. Look at this. We use that tornado. We can combo from the projectile itself. In fact, if you want to get a little greedy about it, you can use the enhanced Eagle Spike and then just keep comboing from there, right? There's some stuff there. And more than just the charged projectile leaves this as well. So say EX Cyclone. That'll leave that as well. Heck, even just jumping. Look at this. Whee! Oh, that's just full screen jump. Sure, whatever. Like, just the act of being in this, right? As long as it's active, it's not active for terribly long, and for good reason, it's very strong, right? But as long as you're just in this, like, the impossible becomes possible, is what I'm saying. So this is what I mean by has unmatched mobility. His just general pressure is really good. His ability to be on you at any time is really good. He can set up some of these little mini twisters. They're called the air currents, by the way. But yeah, so when he leaves behind an air current, like, his game plan's already effective, right? But if we just kind of let him get away with one, like, he can get away with murder real quick, right? Not the least of which is they usually make Eagle Spike completely safe on block, which is very strong. And speaking of getting away with murder, let's just call it for what it is. How about Great Desert Storm? This is the Yasar. His level 2. And in no uncertain terms, this is the best level 2 super in the game. There's lots of other good level 2s. It doesn't diminish other ones by existing, but this is just in a class in and of itself. This is the reason you pick Rashid. Like, he has a level 3, you're barely ever going to see it. Because you do this, and usually you got him in some kind of the corner, and guess what? This happens, and there ain't no avoiding it. You just gotta deal. At bare minimum, if it hits, one of the fun things about it is it leaves the air current behind. So, you're getting some turbocharged combos if it connects. And unlike similar moves, like say JP or whatever, right? He gets hit, it don't go away. He can get hit all he wants. It's still gonna stay out in front. And that makes it extra terrifying because there's no scenario where, like, at least I hit him out of it or something. Like, if he get hit, like, that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna trade, you're gonna get comboed, and that's probably gonna be game over. Also, it leaves the air current when it's gone, but it counts as air current while it's actively up, right? So you can just, like, spam Eagle Spikes while it's up, but, like, you can do a lot of things with low consequence. Because what are they gonna do? Because, like, rest assured, you ain't exactly jumping over it, for one, right? You're gonna get juggled, and he can do whatever he wants to you after the fact. Now, I know you're thinking, like, what about parry? The parry is a valid option. The problem with parry is he's going to use this to, like, either combo you or something before you can even think about that, or he's going to endlessly throw you. And while you're worried about that, you're going to wake up into it, which covers its own set of problems. Like, it's very difficult to survive it and the myriad of options Rashid gets without taking some kind of damage. It's just, and even though the corner is the better example, right? But he does this, and against the majority of the roster, even mid-screen, he now just dictates the pace of the match for the next while. And that's very strong, and, well, it's very unique to him. And just like before, like, all the gimmicks apply, because he can do this, and, like, he'll get his turbocharged jump because it counts as an air current, right? He'll flip across the screen, can easily cross you up. And there's some fun gimmicks, because it's not big and slow, right? How about if that happened? So he can use the Arabian Cyclone to actually, like, kick it into you. Like, it's like a proper Hadoken or something, right? So it can be very fast as well. It doesn't have to be slow. So he's a very odd character. He's got, like, super strong mix-up potential, very strong just general pressure, because he can always just kind of be in whenever. But it's not like he's only rush down pressure. Like, once again here, his projectile is very unique, very strong. The fact that it's holdable so he can create the air currents and then go for, like, his weird little gimmicks from there, strong. And he has, like, the regular enhanced version that can be traditionally powerful in the way you would expect. And the fact that it's actually quite easy to convert a hit from it as well, that's not weak at all. Like, the only thing you can describe to him is just in a pure war of buttons, he's definitely not the strongest character, but given every other strength, he doesn't need to be. Rashid is the rushdown pressure mix-up monster, and very few people get to shut down a game, shut down a match like he does when he does his level 2. So if you're looking for someone who has Complete dominance over a match when you do like a single move. This is the guy.
Started from the bottom and I'll never look back. Look at all my haters, y'all making a mess.
Beyonce waits. We shall increase the dosage to a fatal degree. Farewell. Are you happy, Matt?
Now, Aki's very, very unique. She's not really like anyone else. Like, the easiest way to say her would be like, she's like a neutral footsies character with a lot of gimmicks attached to her. So she's a disciple character. Fang from Street Fighter V would be her master. Although she's not copy and paste. She's very much her own thing. There's a couple things, like her level 1 evokes Fang a little bit, because she can fly by flapping her wings a little bit, if you will. But she does her own thing. But the poison mechanic is the big deal. So when the opponent is poisoned here, don't confuse it. Poison's more of a combo enabler than anything else. It does do damage over time, but it's not a source of significant damage over the course of the match. Like, over the course of the match, it'd be like, maybe like, you know, a couple jabs worth of damage at that. So it's not going to be the thing in and of itself. But when you are poisoned, and then you do another move that put poison on, right? So basically, think of it like apply and then detonate. The next move will detonate the poison, and it'll cause a wide variety of effects. Like Serpent Lash is a great example. So Light Serpent Lash is actually one of the best pokes in the game. Like straight up. It's 14 frame startup, and even on the later active frame, like this is not reactable. Like you are just going to get hit by this every now and then. This is one of those things that gives her like a much better range than the average character, because she can just kind of get you. Like it does have hurt box issues. Like say you know it's coming, like it's part of her body, you can hit it, but still, it's not going to come up that often. Still very good, right? And now, okay, we hit it again. Now it detonates. Now it's just going to do more damage. It's going to knock down the enemy. That's great. The medium version, which got a very big buff lately, it's a lot faster. So you can see here it has kind of like an anti-air hitbox, right? And now it's much better at actually anti-airing people, which is great. So if this connects when they're poisoned, now it knocks them down. So now you can get some combos going on here. So if they're poisoned, you can like combo them and they're knocked down. This happens to be extra good in the corner, by the way, but if they happen to be poisoned, like, and you manage any hit while they're poisoned, like, oh, okay. Basically, it's free combo time. Like, get your damage in. Very powerful knockdown. And then we have the heavy version of Serpent Lash, which is basically anti-air, right? This is also anti-air, but this is like more dedicated, like, you know, obvious jump-in kind of anti-air. And it's usually good at it. Sometimes you'll miss and it'll lose you the game, but it's usually good at it. And then this is just going to be a big old launcher. And it's going to be the kind of big old launcher that anywhere on the screen, you're going to be able to follow up with it and probably reapply more poison on top of that, right? So it's not like the combo state, the detonation state's going to go away. They're still going to have to deal with it. So there's 3 ways to apply and detonate, right? And there's a lot more ways. She has her basic projectile. Of course, we'll go back Light Punch, right? It's not best in class. You know, she's not winning zoning wars against Akuma or nothing like that, right? But it's nice and slow-ish. She can do it, drive rush after it, and like do a threat. And of course, it poisons on hit, which is nice. And Cortical Back series also is another series where each button, just like Serpent Lash, does something different. So Light Punch is a projectile. Medium Punch applies a poison pit. And if you're in it at all, you just get poisoned. You can't block it. So it's very strong to apply in the corner because they just have to get poisoned. There's no recourse. You just have to get poisoned. And so it might be worth just setting up every now and then just to see how they react to it, especially if they're scared. And the heavy version is a big old just attack. And it's good combo filler for one, applies poison. And depending on how you use it in strings, it can also be pretty safe on block with a good amount of pushback. Like -4 from that far doesn't particularly matter. So we got a bunch of poison tricks, and there is more tricks, but how about just solid fundamental play? She's actually amazing at it. So she is a character that has no dedicated reversal. So no Shoryuken, no nothing. Like her only invincibility will come from stuff like super moves. Other than that, hope you blocked right, buddy, right? But so she has the poison mechanic, which is strong, but then just like really strong normals. Her normals are really good range. Like stand medium kick doesn't look like much. Just good range, good bully. Outclasses a lot of other characters at similar ranges. Like, this is much further than the average character can hit at 8 frames on a medium, right? Heavy Punch has got good range as well. Also has a follow-up, which will poison and knock down the enemy, which is nice. And then we got some belligerent buttons. I'm talking stuff like forward heavy kick and crouch medium kick. So forward heavy kick is multi-hitting, and it's very easy to see if you have the hit or not, right? So like, do I got the hit? Oh, cool. And I can just combo from there, right? Oh, got the hit. Cool, cool. Oh, do I got the hit? Cool, cool. Apply poison. Let's go. Right? Sure. Okay, follow up. And is plus on block. Plus on block. It's your turn. So it's your turn, and you'll still win that jab war after the fact. So that's very, very powerful. And then crouch medium kick is also advantage on block. So she has 2 very powerful, you block this, it's still my turn buttons, which is kind of nuts. So weaker defense, yes, but much stronger basic offense, because this will lead to a combo, and if it's blocked, it's still your turn. And this, if it's blocked, it's still your turn. And also, it's a single hit confirm. So you can see here, +5. Stand light punch, well, that's 5 frames, so easy do, right? Like, so this is also very easy to single hit confirm. So I got to set the random block right now, right? Like, I don't know if they're going to block or not. Who can tell? Only my reactions can tell, and this will grant me my reactions. So here we go. Got a combo. Got a combo. Got a combo. Nope, not going to do anything, right? So, like, that works. Once again, I probably mentioned this many times in this video. I'm in my 40s. If I can do it in my 40s, you can definitely do it. It's very reactable. So she's got some really standout buttons is what I'm trying to say. And then, of course, we go back to the move list, right? There's still more weird moves. She has all sorts of sliding kind of moves. All sorts of moves where she's like literally parallel to the ground. This one's very interesting. So, one, like you would expect, it would definitely go under fireballs, right? Like, it would kind of have to. But it's got some tricks to it, because for one, she doesn't need to go under fireballs. She gets a leaping attack from this, and that's projectile invincible. She's gonna get you. And Lord forbid, you're poisoned already when this happens, because then it becomes a crumple. That's the detonation for this move, and you're gonna get a full combo. And there we go. Probably game over. Like, you're eating crap on that point, right? Like, that hurts. She also, from this stance, has her kicks, and these are amazing. So for one, it's good combo fodder, and leaves you +4. So a bare minimum, you can do it. Oh, and +4, boop, 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 boop. And you get an extended combo from it, right? And you get your knockdown, you apply poison, then you get your detonator primed. Like, it's just great combo fodder, straight up. Also, on block, it's safe on block, -3. But the thing about it is this had to be nerfed very recently, in fact, because that means on burnout it's +1. So you can just very easily do this, and plus it's my turn, do this, do something, block string, keep doing it. You can keep the opponent in near infinite block string pressure. There's a bit more gaps now, but it's overwhelming if you're burned out. She's one of the scariest characters to be burned out against, because not only do you rarely have a turn in these scenarios, right? Like, she's gonna carry you to the corner eventually while doing this, and then eventually you're burned out. That's probably game over. And then add to everything else. This is more gimmicky, but she does have a command grab from it. She's a bit of a contortionist, as you can probably tell by like some of the things she's doing here, right? And she will choke the life out of you in this very elaborate grab, which, you know, does pretty all right damage. And then Snake Step is just another way to like quickly traverse the screen. This is like right out of Fang's moveset here. And Light's a little bit of a fake out. The one thing, this isn't a normal reversal, but the enhanced version is strike immune. So it can, in that way, if you know an attack's coming that's specifically a strike, you can get past it that way. But rest assured, it is not throw immune. It will not save you from throw loops or anything like that in the corner. But defensively, it's one of the few options she has. And she is full of a lot of other unique traits. Like cortical back kick is basically just a way to force your way in over more projectiles. Once again, against traditional projectiles, she's got a lot of like play and counterplay. The enhanced version is nice because it's also advantage on block, which is extra good here. And if it's not blocked, it'll just go right into a hit grab. Like, it'll just give you a nice little knockdown out of the gate. And also apply poison, which is, you know, the name of the game, right? Because poison's great. because all the reasons we did, like EX Serpent Lash, like it'll bring you in, right? But if you're already poisoned, then it becomes a crumple state, and then you get more combos. She's a combo monkey character for sure. She's got very long, elaborate combos. And to cap it off, she's another character with a potential checkmate super. Her level 2, it will go full screen depending on which button you press is the distance. And it'll also leave a giant pool that will always just keep repoisoning the enemy. Like even after, you know, you burn it, it'll just reapply as soon as they touch it. So it's really interesting. Very strong in the corner. So very high combo potential thanks to poison and poison detonation. A lot of very powerful, interesting offense. Good neutral, good buttons, lots of good things, but held in place by the fact that she definitely has weaker defense. Usually in this game, if you get the stronger offense, you get the weaker defense, and that's definitely Aki in a nutshell. But she's very cool and very unique, and not really anyone else like her. She's just kind of her own thing, and I think she's actually just super cool personally. Now, going to Ed. Ed's our sad, emo, pretty boy, right? But don't worry, you can fix him. So, he's a monster in this game, straight up. Ed's been nerfed more than a few times since he's come out. And for good reason, and he's absolutely still one of the better characters in the game. So, when it comes to the neutral, like, roughly from here to here, very few people can really hang with Ed. Why? Because he's got the flickers. By the way, Ed's got some of the best overall animation in this game. It's one of those deals where you can definitely tell they had a lot of fun just making them. Like, he can just do a lot of cool stuff. Like, look at his level 3. Like, he literally just ping-pongs you, like he's using you as like a speed bag, right? Like, they had fun with this guy for sure. But yeah, we got Flicker, right? So, already on his face, Flicker is one of the best moves in the game. And that's just light kick Flicker. There's also medium kick Flicker, which has even longer range. You can kind of consider Ed Dhalsim light. Because he's like the next best range besides Dhalsim. Because like this move, 20 frames from this, like you're not reacting to that. Regular flicker is 16 frames. You're not reacting to a flicker. Maybe if it whiffs, you might have a chance. But just on his face and it's in range, hope you blocked, basically. And keep in mind, this logic applies to his normals as well, right? Like this is light kick. So it's 6 frames, really good range. This is light, rather medium kick, right? Look at the range on that. That's huge. And it's also special cancelable, which is great. And it's a natural combo in the light flicker at that. That's kind of gigantic. Crouch medium punch, another just huge range move. Stand heavy kick as a bit of an anti. Like, Ed's got range for days. And flicker, I haven't even got to the stupid stuff yet. Flicker's holdable. And if you hold it, and it lets go, and it hits, that's a launcher. But guess what? Oh, hit, cool. Get comboed and die. Like, he's going to take you for the ride. And don't think you get away by blocking it. Well, it's super obvious, right? What if I block it? Well, if it's charged, he brings you in, he's super plus. So blocking it's not really much of an advantage. Because you're immediately just going to be in the blender. In fact, the blender got nerfed so bad, he's got his throw loop curtailed pretty badly, right? So there's a reason, once again, it gets nerfed because he's that good. And of course, obviously, holding it would be a reaction check, right? He can just backdash out of it. Like, he doesn't have to really commit to much. So it's quite difficult if he does this and you're out of position to actually stop him. So Ed's just strong like that. He also has a very non-standard fireball. So this is his fireball. The first hit's not much, but then he can do a follow-up and then create another projectile from it. You can see here, very varying speeds. Lightning quick to like very slow that you can follow up after the fact. You'd think being 2 parts would be weak, and I guess if you're trying to actively zone the enemy, yeah, and that can be a little weak. But the thing is, the first part destroys projectiles in and of itself. So if you're in the old classical Fireball War, you can very easily destroy theirs, and then send yours on the way. And they might not be recovered yet, they might not be ready for it yet, right? So he's not necessarily a strong zoner, but he's good at counter zoning. And by the way, the speed rules also apply to his enhanced projectiles. So it can be extra slow or extra fast. So that is nice. He's got some interesting command normals as well, like forward heavy punch. So forward heavy punch is definitely designed for you to space it correctly. Because if you space it correctly, there'll be more and more advantage on hit. Also, it's a bit more matchup edge case kind of deal, but it will go over lows because he is in the air, right? Including things like Terry's projectile. So if you're in that position, you can actually just kind of hop over it and bop him on the other side. And if you get the punish counter, you can get some pretty alright damage in, right? So that's fun. Besides that, he's got a lot of just like long command normals. Like his flicker combination as just light kick, light kick, light kick. It's actually not bad. Because the first 2 hits are pretty safe. You can just kind of do it and see how it happens. And then you can kind of confirm the third hit. Like if you see the first 2 connect, then you just go for the third. And it doesn't give you much, but it'll just leave you slightly plus close to him. So then they got to worry about a quick normal, something like that. And it's good reward off a quick light. And like stuff like heavy punch is holdable. And so he has Psycho Knuckle. And yeah, it's basically screaming at the opponent from full screen, literally, right? It's multiple levels of charge. Doesn't necessarily have to be the full charge. You can kind of let go of it early on if you want. The partial charge version is safe on block, it's -2. So you lose your turn, because it'll always like put you in the enemy's face, but it's not punishable. And the fully held version, if they let you rock it, is always plus on block. And naturally, just straight up, like full combo on hit. So there's that. But long story short, Ed, he's meant to just control neutral. Between flickers, his very dominant normals, add in a different kind of projectile game, and all the like, you know, flicker charge or flicker charge fake outs. He wins from roughly mid-screen. He can pressure you. He's got moves to pressure you. Don't like. He's got stuff, right? But he doesn't have to. He will beat most people just mid-screen before they can even get close. And then add his level 2. So he's another character with a kind of jacked up level 2. So this big old purple ball of energy, you know, it hits, does damage, okay. Doesn't seem like much in and of itself, except you do enhanced kill rush, and then since EX can go right into level 2, and then we get some really messed up combos. Like here's something super easy. What if you get tagged randomly by stand medium kick, which is very easy to get tagged by? Level 2 is more than just a level 2. It's a combo engine, because the ball acts as basically like a juggle enabler. Like whatever you can dream up, for the most part, it'll work. In fact, there's quite a few combos called dream combos. Hopefully I'll edit an example in here. And I'm editing in because I'm not good enough to do it. Like, some of these are very hard with like micro walks, and like you have to cancel on a specific frame. Like legitimately some of the highest skill cap stuff in the game. So you do that and you're getting a lot more than a regular level 2's worth of damage. Like some of these level 2 combos are other characters' level 3 combos worth of damage. They're absolutely insane. And by itself, if you're just struggling, right, neutral, like you just toss it out and like it sure controls space, especially because like you can keep staying out ahead of it, right? Like you can hit a couple times when they're blocking, then they try to parry, then you push them out while they're parrying, and then you get a punish counter throw. It's one of the most versatile level 2's in the game. Like it's super strong. The only weakness I can ascribe to it is Desert Storm for Rashid's better, I guess. Like, which everything's not as good as Desert Storm, so whatever. But yeah, so when you're looking for like exceptionally great combos, when you're looking for just exceptional like strong fundamental to neutral play, and not even fun because like he's not playing the same game. Like other characters struggle against that, right? So if you're looking for an easier time of it neutral, between flickers, like absolutely godlike buttons, you know, very strange zoning / counter zoning game, like Ed's a very interesting grab bag of abilities. The one actual decided weakness before we close out is his reversal is as slow as dog water. He has one. He has an invincible reversal, which is better than not, straight up. But his is like maybe the slowest traditional invincible reversal in the game. And there's certain high-level option selects that'll work on him that won't work against like a more traditional reversal. So that doesn't matter to like the highest levels of play, but that is there. Besides that, Ed's a beast.
When it's all said and done, they gon' call me a legend. I love to break bread, but I'd rather break records.
Die a thousand deaths. Erase the sun. Become the demon. K.O. I am the true master of the fist.
Now going to Akuma. So Akuma, you might notice here, this is his new look versus the more classic one. If you haven't seen him in a while, he kind of looks a lot more like a barbarian now, which, well, frankly, makes sense because he's just as terrifying as ever. So on its face, legitimately Akuma's the best character in the game. There's only one thing holding him back. But besides that one thing, there's literally nothing he can do, and he has absolutely no weaknesses. He's only upside with one specific downside. He is the only character in the game to have below average health. So everyone has 10,000 health except for a couple characters like Honda, Zangief, Marisa have a little bit more. He's the only character to have less than that. And so for everything I'm about to go over, like why can he do this? Why can he do that? Why does he have this? Why does he have that? It's all because he has below average health. Otherwise, it's all upside. Otherwise, he's the absolute best character in the game. The only thing bringing him down to the level of the mortal characters is the fact that every mistake with Akuma will cost you a lot more dearly than anyone else. Also, it makes matchups like Marisa very funny because even though it's absolutely Akuma's advantage, because he has low health and she does literally the most damage in the game, it just makes situations like this a lot funnier, right? Because this isn't even optimal damage. This isn't even the critical art. And look how much this does to Akuma. So yeah, like there's a lot of realistic situations like after like a tap, she can just kill him in a single combo. So it leads to funny situations is what I'm saying. Okay, so let's just go through it. So we said the one weakness. Besides that, there are no weaknesses besides the health. So it's all upside from here. Let's talk basics, like basic normals, right? So he's got a 9 frame, not a 10 frame, a 9 frame stand heavy, special cancelable, really good. Forward heavy is actually legitimately one of the best normals in the game because it has huge range. Is barely negative on block with a little bit of pushback. So if it gets blocked at the ranges you want to use it at, it's effectively 0 consequence. Has its own target combo follow-up. So if you're really good at hit confirming by itself, then you'll always get that at least. Also, a lot of times you'll hit with a counter hit, right? And then from there, it's combos in the crouch medium punch. He's got a classical overhead. Forward medium kick's just a really strong poke. Another strong poke on top of the ones he already has. He's got a plain old dive kick, which is very strong. If you space it even remotely well, it's going to be guaranteed combos. Very easy to make plus on block, by the way, with even the most remote spacing. You know, very workable crouch medium kick, and of course goes into drive rush because, you know, Street Fighter 6. He maintains the Shoto air juggle property on his jump medium. He's just a bundle of good stuff just on the normal stuff, right? Specials. Maybe the best overall basic fireball game in the game. Because, like, Ryu got buffed, yes. But, like, Akuma's is still very fast. He already had the 700 damage. Ryu only just recently got there. His is also holdable, unlike Ryu's, right? So the more you hold it, the better it gets. So you can use this and like throw off parry timings. 2 hits is strong, which obviously, like, if you're up against a base fireball and you can just do the 2-hit version or the 3-hit version, and it'll just destroy everything on its way. EX Fireball, obviously good. Also, EX Fireball's holdable for more hits. We got Tatsus. We got all sorts of Tatsus, in fact, because he's coming at all sorts of weird angles. The heavy version is amazing for combos and Oki and pressure, by the way. We got uppercuts. In fact, his had to be nerfed. It used to do like so much more damage than any other EX uppercut, and they had to bring that in line with like the normal characters. So we got Shoto 101, right? So what do we got beyond Shoto 101? We got teleports with friggin' command grabs on him. Because why not? Yeah, he has a command grab. This is a command grab. You cannot block that. We have a new move for a new era of Akuma, the Adamant Flame, quarter circle back punch. And this move also has a follow-up, by the way. This move's amazing. For one, this is, just like we talked about some of the other buttons, right? This is a neutral button. This gives him even more range than usual, as he will just, after a brief wind up, go forward and go in, right? And it's already +3 on regular hit. So if you catch them hitting a button on counter hit, it's combo time, like straight up. Also great for drive rushes, because he moves a bit backwards while doing it, right? So it'll stop momentum dead. So when you drive rush in trying to catch somebody, they'll try to like do a button to stop your drive rush. It's the classic. I see green, I'm gonna hit a button. So I'm not just gonna let you run in on me for free. But then, this is what happens now. Whoops. Like, so while you're trying to check, he just stopped dead in his track because it will not keep any momentum. And then he'll potentially punish counter the button you just pressed. And then, because it's a counter hit or a punish counter, he's gonna get damage. And then, okay. Oh, by the way, it splats on the wall. The enhanced version. So you're gonna get like actual combos and stuff. Oh, and I mentioned it's like barely negative on block. Like you're not getting punished. Even if you don't space it, it's not punishable. So sure. He still has Demon Flip, and Demon Flip's still silly. So we have the low. We have a dive kick, and dive kick is just like his regular dive kick. Very easy to do, make a comboable, very easy to space, make plus on block. We got the chop. So the chop's an actual overhead. So you do have to stand block that. And if you stand block it, guess what? It's always plus on block. It's always plus on block. Always plus on block. All right, so you blocked right. Great. Get thrown. Because I'm super plus, sure. And he doesn't have Demon Throw from it anymore, but because it's a different game, right? So the idea is now, if you're going to try to parry to worry about like the overhead low options, I can just cancel it and go for a regular throw. You just hold down to cancel it so nothing comes out. So there's no Demon Throw, but it's effectively the same idea. So I had all that, and of course there's Air Fireball. And it's as obnoxious as you would think. You do it in a lot of different angles. You can like do it even kind of point blank. Like even from here, right? That's plus on block. What? like you would think being so brazen with it, like from like so close, would make it not plus. It's still plus. And of course, if I get the hit, like now, depending on like my spacing, my angles, right? Like I could get more combo ability, and it's just so strong. Like it's so strong in all the ways you think. You can do it from a neutral jump if you do the enhanced version. Once again, there's no weaknesses. Level 1's a good projectile super. Level 2, bigger version of Adamant Flame, which also is very strong, because if it happens to be near the corner, it will splat them on the corner, and then you can get more damage than like the move would otherwise entail by itself. Strong. He's got one of the coolest looking level 3s in the game, especially the critical art version, because he'll basically just, well, the story tells itself. How about a point blank to your face energy blast? And of course, when you're low health, he has the Raging Demon, which is, if it wasn't for Zangief existing, this would probably be the best level 3 in the game. Because it's a command grab, and it's a command grab that does about half your life. And it's the kind of command grab, once the flash happens, it's too late. If you see the animation, if you're not already in the air, you're getting got. And you're losing half your life, which will, like, it's probably going to be game. There's lots of ways to gimmick into it. And yes, that does mean he's the only character in the game with 2 level 3s. He has the normal level 3, which is still great for combos, because, you know, it does good damage, right? And then you have the, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do, like, you're just worried and you're stressing. You know, it's just a really good way to gimmick someone out at the end of a fight. Like, it's good in all the ways. Raging Demon has always been good, right? So Akuma is only upsides. It's all good. He's one of the best characters in the game. It's once again the low health. If it wasn't for the low health, he'd be undoubtedly the single best character in the game. Because he has the lower health, and it's not a lot lower, it's about 10% less than everyone else, but this is a high damage game. 10% is the difference between life or death. Like right now, my health is set to 10%. So you lose that much extra health. And you can be at this amount of health a lot in a lot of games, right? So, in conceivably a game where like people lose in like 3 to 5 clean hits, he could lose in 2 to 4. So he'll lose in like 1 less clean hit than the average character. And that's by design, that's the low health. But other than that, it's all upside. So unless you just make really bad decisions, like if you're very prone to doing non-stop wake up uppercuts, probably not the guy for it because they're going to extra break you in half if they catch you. But other than that, Akuma is great.
Started from the bottom and I'll never look back. Look at all my haters, y'all making them mad.
Prepare! It's over! Too slow! Arrogant fool! Dora! You will rue this day! Psycho! Punisher! Peasant!
Going to M. Bison, the evil dictator. Now, this Bison's like more like Bisons of old, not that lumbering lummox that was in Street Fighter V that I didn't care for. This Bison is fast. He's got incredible walk speed. He's got one of the best drive rushes in the game. You can tell he is hoofing it, as you can see, right? This guy is quick. He's got big buttons, like stand medium kick has got some range to it. Stand heavy punch got even more range. It's a slow move. It's admittedly a slow move, but it's got tons of range. It moves him far forward, also has a nasty punish counter attached to it. And since he's a quicker boy than most, you can go in and out of people's range, bop him on the punish counter, and well, from there, kinda do whatever you want, really, right? And then we have that. You notice that? What's with this and why? Oh, that's no good. So, big fast man, big buttons, great buttons. But one of the core aspects of Bison in this game, in Street Fighter 6, is the Psycho Mine. Basically, he has a move, Cortical Back Punch series, that will plant a mine on you that will eventually detonate it. Now, to note, if you get bopped, it goes away. You have to like keep yourself safe one way or another while it's on, but it will just by itself go off. It's very literally a ticking time bomb. The opponent can block it, but while they're trying to block it, they're on the defensive. So thankfully for you, you got nice lows, you got a very powerful and very useful overhead, and of course, while they're just blocking, you can throw them, because Bison has some of the best throws in the game, in fact. He's got a dirt easy throw loop as it is, because he's not 19 frame dash forward. This stuff writes itself, folks. Very easy, and of course, he's got walk forward throw loops too if you want to be a bit more nuanced about it. And the silly thing about Psycho Mine is, on top of the fact that obviously it's scary, and when it's about to go off, if I crank you with that random overhead and you didn't block it, it's still going to explode, and it's going to juggle you. But there's a bunch of moves that can make it detonate right away, like his EX Psycho Crusher! And if that goes off, that's a big juggle, and rest assured, you're eating crap. It doesn't particularly matter how you go about it. If this happens, like, stuff's going down, basically. Like, this damage has been nerfed. But does this feel like nerf damage to you? Does this feel like a light amount of damage? Not really, right? And it used to hit a lot harder. But yeah, that's kind of it. Is you plant the mine, and you go from there, right? And to the point where the mine plant, especially mid-screen, was considered a little too dominant. So it's been nerfed a bit in that there's a good deal more pushback. But to make up for it, they also buffed the Psycho Crusher. So the basic Psycho Crusher now is a good deal better. So you can very easily get it from lights now, which is great. And they made the knockdown a lot better, which is interesting in a patch where a lot of characters, Season 3 specifically, lots of characters, the ability to get like a basic knockdown, dash, that got nerfed for a lot of characters, right? Like Akuma, Cammy, and then they just kind of gave it to Bison, right? Because they don't want you to always go for the mine. But even then, you probably still want to go for the mine a lot because it's super strong and there's nothing else like it in the game. So obviously he's got some overwhelming offense, and he's got classic stuff like head stomp, he's got devil's reverse. They're now the same move. It's just which button you press basically figures which one goes off. So he's got non-standard move, and he's still got scissors. Scissors is not a charge move in this game, so it makes it just a very abusable move in neutral. Crazily so. Especially because if you get a counter hit, you can link into a jab. So now with the new buffs, like, that's a combo. So that's interesting. So Bison's a man of overwhelming offense. Even like back heavy kick, that's a nice plus on block knee that if it were to happen connect, is a combo starter in and of itself, which is extra handy. But with overwhelming strengths, huge walk speed, great walk speed, great normals, big normals, easy overheads, plus on block moves that are also combo starters, obviously the mine, all the trickiness with like classical style moves like the head stomp. So offense, 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 offense. There is no room for defense here. He has his level 1 super that's invincible. That's all he's getting. There is no dragon punch style move here. There is perhaps no character more geared to like just screaming offense than Bison. Like, and don't get it wrong, like he can play footsies real good. He can play neutral real good. He's got the buttons for it, right? And he's got the walk speed for it. But in the end, the game plan now is land the mine and just make it explode, get your big combo, or conversely, Psycho Crusher now is one of the best knockdowns in the game. So either get amazing pressure off any Psycho Crusher knockdown, and either then take the guaranteed pressure, or just place the mine and then start rolling some dice. But either way, offense, 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 name of the game with Bison.
I'm ready for a fight when it's on its own. I'm charging like a bull when it's on its own. Are you okay? Round one! Let's get round one! Lock you! Let's get to round one! Power charge! I got the chance here! Can't beat me! Here comes the big one! Rising! Bang! Stay down.
Now, Terry Bogard, famous fightman, perhaps the next closest thing to Ryu in terms of the face of fighting games, and Street Fighter's first ever guest character. And no, like, Cody and all that doesn't count, because that's Capcom universe. This guy's from SNK. How is he from SNK? Look at that crazy fireball. It goes on the ground. That's what SNK games do, is their fireballs are on the ground. So Terry does that. But yeah, so as far as Street Fighter 6 is concerned, Terry is a all-rounder, and he's a hell of an all-rounder. He really is ready for just about any situation in the game. First up, he's got a bundle of very serviceable normals. His crouch medium punch is very good. His stand heavy punch, I love stand heavy punch so much. Two hitting, very easy to hit confirm. You see here, it sets a random block, right? And it's just the easiest thing in the world to just let those two hits rock out and then go into a special. So that's really good. And then if we have our block on, one of the changes they made since he came out originally is it's now plus on block. So even if they do block it, it's still your turn. That's a pretty good get. Like, if you do it point blank, they're only in stand jab range, but it's still 4 frames, so you're gonna win. Like, it's really, really, really strong. So that's to me, it's one of the better normals in the game. Stand heavy kicks, got good range. Also has a fantastic punish counter attached to it. So if you want to get for some combos, good whiff punish, go from there. If you're the kind of guy likes, you know, doing the old crouch medium kick and buffering stuff into it to see if it hits, he's got the fire kick. So fire kick is an actual launcher from crouch medium kick. And from there, you can do, you know, whatever various special cancels that you want to do. And of course, it will only come out if it hits. So if you just do this and you buffer and just see what happens, and from there, well, then you can just have a little bit of fun with it, because it's not bad. And medium kick is also fantastic, just because if you do catch someone whiffing a button, like say the enemy Terry's fishing for what we just talked about, right? And I'm going to bop him one here. Haha, got you, Terry, right? And guess what? Boom! Buster Wolf! So his level 1 super, perhaps one of the most iconic moves in all of video game history, is lightning quick. In that, even off a punish counter medium kick, you can send them for the ride, right? So it's super quick. It's also invincible. Terry's not hurting for any defensive stuff. He's got the regular invincible reversal as well, just like you would expect from an all-rounder. But yeah, so he's got good buttons, and of course the specials, right? Power Wave. This is very not standard, because it goes across the ground. So some characters have an easier time going over, admittedly, as a projectile, but also some moves that are meant to beat projectiles by going under them will still get hit by this. And it changes depending on the button, so that's light. Medium doesn't quite go full screen compared to, see here, light, right? But if it hits as a counter hit or better, it will knock the enemy down. So from mid-screen, catch them hitting any buttons or doing their own projectile. Basically, it's a free get in, free knockback worker to the corner. It's really strong. And Heavy, well, it's round wave, and that ain't going nowhere. Because if it hits, it's 8 frames of advantage. 8 frames of advantage, that means you get a combo straight up. So, you know, normal projectiles don't give you a combo point blank. This one does. And also, it's a monster +5 on block point blank. And also does a ton of drive gauge damage. And also recently got buffed to a low. Before it was just a mid. Now you actually have to crouch block it, thanks to various parry changes. So that's a nice little quality of life buff. So like all 3 buttons all do different things, and they're all very strong. And Terry's just brimming with specials. Like he's got quick burn, cortical back light punch. This is a quick little overhead on the second hit. But the medium punch is burn knuckle, which is one of the most ignorant neutral skip moves in the game. Doubly so, because it's quite easy to space it to be either barely punishable on block, like, or rather not punishable on block at all, or, see that little screen shake? You can make it plus on block. So you can scream in, and even if they block, still your turn, get thrown. So yeah, it's very quick, it's very difficult to react to, like on a space level, and it's quite easy as long as you space it to make it advantage on block. And then the heavy version's even bigger, because that one goes to full screen. And this one's, you know, easier to see, easier to react to, admittedly, but it's also easier to make plus on block, and it goes to full screen. So if you struggle with the old back and forth and just want to scream your way in, Terry with burn knuckle is like a dream character for it. And you got crack shoot, which is great for combos, great for going over lows. Also got a little bit better for going over lows as of the season 3 patch, so that's really nice. You got the old shoulder. Well, it's a nice little tool for either quick combos where you can be plus in their face. Also, if you space it correctly, you can combo after it hits. So if I catch you here at the right ranges, that's all one combo. So light shoulder is interesting. Medium shoulder juggles, which is very good for certain combo structures in the corner. And heavy shoulder by itself is multifaceted because it's a special that's special cancelable. So this is like, you know, SNK rules, right? In a Capcom game. But so you can just do it and go right into another special move. And for certain combo structures of Terry, that makes some very nice combos. In fact, this is one of the deals where Terry's a little bit trickier for some of the more advanced combos, because this is very much a timing thing. So you need to get all 3 hits, because if you just do it right away, you get 2 hits, you don't get as much damage. So you gotta like wait a split second, then get 3 hits, then you can do your combos. Terry's not a particularly tricky character, although with things like the shoulder, he does have some unique traits. And also, you know, he has a level 1, the infamous Buster Wolf we talked about. It's great. He has, you know, a level 3, like you would expect, does a lot of damage, very visually impressive, as you would expect. But he actually has one hell of a level 2, and it's not one of these weird gimmicky install level 2s that if you watch the video to this point that, you know, we covered several times. This level 2 actually can do more damage than his level 3. So this is Power Geyser. And this is modular. So on its own, okay, it does, you know, alright level 2 damage. But if you burn 3 drive gauges, you can get a follow-up to do more damage. And now it's doing like very high level 2 damage. And of course, Street Fighter being Street Fighter, it will let you spend bar you don't have. So as long as you're just not burned out, you can always do it. And the thing about it is, it has the option to do even more damage if you spend a 3rd bar. So it is a level 3 in a way, right? So 2 bars, 3 drive bars, and then another bar, and then you get this. The triple geyser. And then, especially in longer combos, this will scale better than your actual level 3 will. So, depending on resource management and all that, Terry can do some interesting things. But yeah, he's Mr. All-Rounder. At bare minimum, he can do a fireball, although his fireball's a little bit different. He can do an uppercut, although his uppercut's a little bit different. SNK land things work differently. And he's got some sort of crazy kick that's not a hurricane kick, but it's crack shoot, but it works good for him. Terry's another character that just also keeps getting buffed. They're invested in Terry doing well. He's a big get. Terry is a big name in all of video gaming, and it's pretty cool that he's here. So if you're looking for just a good all-rounder kind of character, that's not necessarily Ken, Ryu, or Akuma. Terry is a great fit for it. Now, Mai Shiranui, our other guest character from SNK. So technically an all-rounder in that, you know, fireball, uppercut, we got those, right? But she's closer to Chun-Li in that she wants to abuse her very high walk speed and the range of her very excellent buttons. To that point, as of this most recent patch, some of these got nerfed a little bit, but don't confuse it. They're still among the best in the game. They just got a little bit of the edge taken off, but everyone else would kill to have moves like these. So what makes Mai? So out of the gate, if you just want to be obnoxious, she probably has the single best throw loop in the game because it's auto-timed, it's very easy. It's also auto-space, so you can just walk out to shimmy people. It's super obnoxious. It's zero effort, zero skill, just dash forward throw, but you're just in the right range to walk back out if they try to throw you back to tech, and then you can bop them for whatever reason. If you want an annoying throw loop, yo, this is the character for it, right? But yeah, so high walk speed, great buttons. Stand medium punch, 8 frames, great. Special cancelable, great. Stand heavy punch, 9 frames, great. Also special cancelable, great. And a huge overall range for what it is. So that's great. Stand heavy kick, huge range, huge range, huge range. Has a very big punish counter attached to it. So if you catch people, like, they're taking a good amount of damage. And even though it's been nerfed, still only -3 on block and only a little bit of pushback versus them going back like the entire screen like it used to be. Maybe not abusable as Terry's, but also a very good stand medium kick. We got a drive rush cancelable, special cancelable, crouch medium kick. We got a very nice overhead, which is very abusable with drive rush. She's just a bundle of fantastic normal. So once again, sort of like Chun-Li in that way. But where it differs a little bit is she ain't no charge character, right? She can toss her projectiles like a motion, not like Chun-Li. She has an actual uppercut with the uppercut motion, unlike a Chun-Li. And yes, it is full invincible, so don't worry about that. She's not lacking in any defensive traits. But the fans is the name of the game. So fan toss is weird. So base fan toss is a projectile like you'd expect, except that, what? It's a weak projectile, meaning you can just hit it out of the air. And any normal projectile will always beat it. Unless it's the enhanced version, or unless you hold it. It's holdable. And if you hold it, then you can't hit it and it won't lose the fireballs. So what's the difference? Well, if you hold it, it bounces. And the enhanced version bounces. And this is super annoying. This is super frustrating. And it's at the absolute core of her game plan. Like, yes, you can do a lot of crouch medium kick, drive rush. You'd probably rather spend your bar on tossing EX fans instead. Even if you block these, even if you parry these, the bounce is still happening. That's what makes this so powerful. And also stuff like light fan can be nice and slow, as you can see here. Charge fan, as you can see here, I can like run behind that bad boy, right? And of course, what makes it scary is when you're waiting for that bounce, like, well, I gotta block it, right? What if I throw you instead? What if, while you're worrying about that, I hit you with an overhead? What if, while you're worrying about that, I come in, I hit you with a low, right? Like, while this is happening, a lot can happen to you. And this is actually recently nerfed. Like, see the fact that I'm like walking back after I block it? You couldn't even do that before. It would just force you on block stun the whole time while you're trying to hold back. So at least you can walk out now. But of course, once again, walk out has its own problem. So if I come screaming in drive rushing and you're walking out, I'll tag you with a low. I'll tag you with a whole bunch of things. And of course, we talked about that, held fan, EX fan. There's also held EX fan, by the way, which is 2 projectiles. And then there's the buff. So our level 1 is actually one of the best level 1s in the game, because it's good in all the ways a level 1 is. But then it'll give her the flame buff. Now, regular projectile is multi-hitting, it's not weak. All the bouncing gets a lot better. Hell, look at this EX. That just becomes a whole crazy show in and of itself. And this stuff gets deadly, because this will just keep putting you a block stun. Eventually you're going to crack. Eventually you're going to press a button. Eventually she's going to find a way to sneak in through your defense. Blocking against Mai is scary because you can't keep blocking. You will eventually screw up some way, somehow. Even if something as simple as, like, okay, I'll just parry, right? That ain't going to work sometimes. You got to watch out. Also, the flame buff buffs everything, right? Like take her level 2 super. It ain't no reaction check super for sure, right? But if you have the level 1 buff up, now it is a reaction check super. Now you do just about anything, and it can legitimately be a gotcha now, right? Because it goes so far, so fast, and now has some invincibility properties when it doesn't without the buff. So it's cool. Even the level 1. The level 1 will buff itself. So this is regular level 1, and here's the buff level 1. As long as you got the flame stalks, pretty much everything in your arsenal gets better. So she's absolutely a character that will want to do a lot of level 1s over the course of the match. You know, she has the big cinematic level 3. Like, it's there, it looks cool. Float like a butterfly, sting like a Shiranui, right? You know, all the classics. But level 1's kind of where it's at. So if we want to boil it down, my good walk speed, good buttons, you're going to be playing super fundamental play. And then eventually, when the fundamentals run out, you're going to be tossing them fans. And the fans are going to be doing a lot of work for you because they are some of the best moves in this game. And even though it got nerfed a little bit, confuse it for nothing, this stuff is still some of the most frustrating stuff to deal with in the game. So if you want a combination of you play solid, but also make the opponent want to rage quit, Mai's a great character for it.
I'm ready for a fight when it's on, it's on. I'm charging like a bull when it's on, it's on.
Get an opening! Yeah! One more! On the hunt! Right away! This fight's over! The joy of life can't be beat! And go! Still with me?
Now, Elena, our most recent addition to Street Fighter 6. She's very interesting. She's a really good grab bag of abilities with some weird, very defined weaknesses. We'll start with that, I guess. Let's start with the weaknesses just because it's different. So there's definitely some characters that really care if your opponent is crouching or standing. Like, say Chun-Li's a really good example of that. But she takes this to the next level. Like, she has so many good target combos, right? Like, but if they're crouching, not gonna hit. How about Rhino Horn? Literally can't hit someone crouching. She has a target combo from crouch medium kick, right? You get hit while you're crouching, it's not going off. And there's just a lot of scenarios where like certain combo routes or certain combo opportunities won't exist if they're crouching while you're hitting them with a combo. Now there is just some things like stand heavy kick forces standing, so the follow-up always work. Spinning scythe, the first hit's also for standing, so it'll always go through, because technically the final hits won't connect against a croucher, but the first hits will force stand, so you're good to go, right? But standing versus crouching is something you have to always watch out for. But now out of the way, right? So the strengths are, Elena has some of the best buttons in the game. I think they want that as a weakness to kind of make up for the fact that as a buttonsy kind of character, she's so good. Like stand jab. Her stand jab is a good deal longer range than the average character. So that's really strong, just tap it out here. Same with stand light kick. Stand light kick's got absurd range, absurd range. Kind of really great as like a whiff punish because she has very strong drive rush potential, because crouch light punch will go into crouch heavy punch on a drive rush, and then from there, like it's legitimately some of her better combo structure, so that helps out a lot. Stand medium kick, if you do catch them standing and not crouching, right, has a very strong double hitting target combo, so very easy to hit confirm into whatever you're going to want to go into. Stand medium kick is, oh my god, this is top 5 button in the game, maybe. So 6 frames, so very fast. Obviously, like the range isn't huge, right? But 1, it's +5. So that means it will go into your stand light kick that we just talked about. So that means you will get, you know, all sorts of combo ability from it. And then it is also ridiculously plus on block. So another move I would think is like comparable would be like Chun-Li stand medium punch. The thing is though, this has like 3 times the range. Like Chun-Li has to be point blank. She does not have to be point blank to do this. So this is just very strong overall. Just legitimately an impressive button, because like you can do basic stuff off it, right? And get some pretty alright damage. Her damage is great. Another great button, oh my god, forward heavy punch. Oh my lordy. So this is a slower startup move, but as you can see, like the range is there. This is not a messing around on the move when it comes to the range, right? And this also has a target combo follow-up. And the beauty is, 1, look at the damage. 2,000. This is a poke. So this is 2,000 off a poke. That's enormous. And it's one of those deals again where we have it set to random block. We don't know what's going to be. And now with random block on, okay, confirm to hit 2,000 damage. Confirm to hit 2,000 damage. Oh, no, we ain't touching it that time, right? This one, okay, this one admittedly is a bit harder. The window's a bit tighter compared to some other examples in this video, but it's very doable. You just kind of got to do it. Especially look for like a flash, like a counter hit or something like that. If you see that, it's a better, easier visual tell. Because, you know, if you're doing buttons from this far away, the only way they would get hit anyways, you know, unless they just walked into it, is by hitting a button. So that's usually the tell, right? But I think it's very powerful. Stand heavy kicks, good. Like, her buttons are just good. Like, she has a crouch medium kick target combo as long as they're standing, because once again, it misses if they're crouching, right? But as long as they're standing, that's +4, which will go into crouch light punch. Crouch light punch is +5, goes into stand light kick. And once again, this stuff writes itself, right? Very good. So, okay, that's buttons. Besides that, she does have, you know, invincible reversal, although she does not have an invincible level 1. So that's the weakness. But there's a reason why level 1 is not invincible. Very strong reason why, in fact. Because for a very silly reason, it can go into itself. So you can go level 1 into another level 1 into an EX uppercut juggle, right? So it's not invincible, which defensively sucks, especially if you're in burnout. But it has incredible offensive potential. So that's interesting. Now let's go into Link's song. This is the other thing that's really strong about her, besides just her very interesting suite of buttons that are very strong. So it's a quick little roll. And from this quick little roll, you got a couple options. You can go for forward light kick, which in and of itself is basically a poke. So think of this as just another long range button. Because if it hits, great. Quick 1,000 damage, quick knockdown. If it's blocked, it's kind of like, oh no, -5 from this far away. I'm not feeling too bad about it, right? You have forward and medium kick, which is a launcher. And naturally, get combo ability from it. And forward and heavy kick is Mallet Smasher, the old classic overhead. And then, if you do forward and punch again, you double roll. And EX roll, by the way, is double roll just out of the gate. And here's the thing. Double roll changes the property of the move. So now, the light kick comes double hitting, knocks down, right? Which you knocked down before, which is great, but big change is it's now advantage on block. And this is already your quickest move out of this. So having that advantage on block is very strong, and even stronger yet when we get to it, talking about it later. The medium kick is now an even bigger launcher. This is how we get the stuff like the double level 1 combo that we just showed you before. It's interesting to say the least, right? And heavy kick now becomes the old school Mallet Smasher, like the one you played. If you ever played like older games of Street Fighter, this is the one that was there, right? And also, even though this move is slower, it is also advantage on block, and it's also a true overhead. So you gotta stand block this. And of course, thus leads the mix. Well, if this is plus on block, if this is plus on block, and it's an overhead, well, I'm just gonna parry this stuff, right? And then I just do nothing and I throw you. So there you go. That's sort of the mix, right? And here's the thing. A lot of her stuff is tailor-made to use and abuse this. Like here, that forward heavy kick knockdown, right? That basically hit the frame you got up. All you gotta do is do this, do, boom, boom. And that's it. Like, they back roll too. This is mid-screen back roll. This is not some like weird corner-only setup. You just roll and you go for it right away. Say you got a basic, just like literally like a jab knockdown, right? So boom, 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 rhino horn, roll, roll. Basically almost frame perfect. Like, you can't stick out a button to beat that. You could do something invincible, sure, but in this super basic scenario, like either I'm gonna hit you or you're gonna block and it's my turn anyways, right? And if you try to do something silly like parry, well, I can just do nothing and throw you. So it's immediately guest strike throw, right? Off basic knockdown. But in like a way that's stronger than usual, because even if you do block, it's still my turn. And a lot of her whole moveset is tailored around this specific aspect of forcing you to wake up into the double roll and guessing the myriad of options from the double roll. So when she gets a knockdown, it's very solid. Also, let's bring in her good friend Akuma. And yes, Akuma is her friend. Elena is like Akuma's only friend, right? Rolls are projectile invulnerable to a degree. You gotta get out ahead of it. It's not great, but here's the thing. Now, thankfully, EX roll is the more reliable one. If you're looking to get past the fireball, do that, right? So if you smell the fireball coming your way, it's fairly easy to just kind of do that, right? You probably want to go for the light kick ender just because it's quick enough to catch them before they recover, because like Akuma has very fast recovery on his fireballs. But yeah, roll is really good for that. And also her level 2. Her level 2 has pretty good range and is very invulnerable, period, not just the fireballs, right? So if you're looking for a quick reaction check, this covers a good amount of the screen really quick, and it's good for it. And also, it's modular. Say you're hurt a little bit, right? If you hold down during the move, instead of doing the actual ender like normal, you will heal. And you'll heal a fairly significant amount. And as you can see here, like, it literally makes grass grow on the stage at that, right? So if it's not going to be the kill anyways, you getting some health back, it's your call, right? If you let it rock, it will do more damage. And if it's going to kill, let it rock. For sure, like, don't heal just to, you know, not lose or not win the round, right? But it's 2,800 damage, which is pretty all right for a level 2. Versus if you do the heal, it'll be 2,000, well, just shy of 2,000, and you'll heal a very good amount. So she has a very different kind of level 1, considering it's a specifically like for juggles and combos, and a pretty different kind of level 2, considering choose damage or choose healing, right? So that's different. Although don't worry, level 3's level 3. Like, it's there to do damage and look cool, right? So it's nothing too wild. It ain't nothing you've seen before, other than I think it's very beautifully animated. But yeah, just bag a good normal, like even we talked about hit confirm stuff, right? Her overhead also has a hit confirmable follow-up, which means her overhead will do more damage than other characters' comparable overheads. So just the threat of the base overhead from her is actually scarier. Like, you can still do drive rush, still get like more full combos, sure, but it'll just hurt more if you're on the ball compared to the average character. So very good footsies, very good pokes. Very interesting combo structure, very heavy on the juggles for sure. Stuff like spinning scythe. She can actually cancel that to the roll mid-combo, by the way. So in certain combo structures, you can actually get like pretty silly stuff going on, basically. Not necessarily optimal, but it is cool looking, right? And you can do that off regular as well. It doesn't have to be heavy, like, or EX rather. So she can do a lot of fun things, is what I'm trying to say, right? But she's very different enough to be a bit jarring, because she has a lot of specific rules that she has to follow. Being able to hit confirm random straight hits is more important for her than the average character, thanks like the overhead, thanks to forward heavy kick. You really got to pay attention if they're crouching or not, which, you know, isn't as big of a deal for most of the cast, but it is absolutely for her. But again, has some very dominant buttons, like stand medium kick is absolutely ridiculous. Just about every knockdown in the game will give you the ability to go for your double roll and get follow-ups from it, which puts very easy pressure back on the enemy. So if you just like good buttons and just pressure, like, this is a character for you. And here we are at the end of the video. Oh my god. This is going to be a long one. I'm not sure how long I'm going to guess 3.5 hours. That's my guess. We'll see where we are in editing. But yeah, so it's a long video, so if you got this far, please leave a like. That'd be very appreciated. And yeah, there's going to be more characters. I'm not remaking this video every time there's a new character. We had one at launch, now we are with 8 more characters since launch, and obviously a lot of changes, so I figured it was a good time. We'll have new characters, like Sagat is our next character, then it'll be Viper and stuff like that. You know what? If you're watching this video when they're out, check the channel. Very assuredly, I'll have videos on those characters, probably have guides, combos, all that kind of stuff on those characters. So for anyone not covered in this video, check it out. Also, a lot of the other older guides, most of them are still pretty valid, because like some characters like Chun-Li only got a few small changes since that guide got made, at least as of the time of making this video. So that guide's still perfectly valid. So for anything newer, check the channel, there'll be updates. But yeah, so Street Fighter 6, pretty cool game. There's a lot of cool things about it, and I'm hoping that you had fun watching the video, and I hope that this video has taught you a thing or two about the various members of the cast. there's kind of something and someone for everyone. Not everyone has the same playstyle. Sometimes you just want to be a sledgehammer. Marisa is a great character if you want to be a sledgehammer. Sometimes you want to be a bit silly. Characters like Blanka, if you want to be gimmicky, man, do they got it for you. Sometimes you just want to struggle. Hey, Lily's got enough struggling for the rest of the cast combined, don't worry, right? And sometimes you just want to kind of do everything. There's something for everybody, and hopefully in the course of this video, you learned something, right? So leave a like if you made it this far. Helps out the video a lot. And other than that, that is the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.